Welcome to Nimmin Live, the #1 place on the internet to learn about YouTube, network with other content creators, and have an awesome time doing it. My name is Nick, and today I'm answering your YouTube questions. So if you have a question about what it is that you are doing on YouTube, there's a form down in the description right now where you can go ahead and get your questions down there, and we will get them answered on the stream today. If you are watching this on the replay, I do want to let you know that we have timestamps down in the description. So I encourage you to go down there and just kind of sort through those timestamps and see what questions that we're going to be answering today are things that you want answered. And the reason for that is because when these streams first start, I have no idea what it is that we're going to be talking about in terms of the very specific questions about YouTube that we're going to be answering. So because of that, afterwards, we put those timestamps down there to make it easy for you on the replay to be able to find exactly what it is that you want. So hit the description, make sure that you check that out. And for those of you that are here now, make sure that you also check out the video description because I got a bunch of valuable stuff down there for you as well also. But as we're getting started, I do want to let you know that today's stream is brought to you by, oops, I'm in the wrong branding thing right here. Give me 1 second. Today's stream is brought to you by TubeBuddy, which is the #1 tool for YouTube content creators. TubeBuddy will help you optimize your videos for discovery. TubeBuddy will help you come up with video ideas. TubeBuddy will help you test your thumbnails to make sure that what it is that you are the thumbnails that you're publishing, to make sure the ones that you're using are effective for the audiences that you're trying to reach. They give you full reports on where your thumbnails are performing best, but there's a bunch of different features. They have over 90 different tools that you can use to help you grow and manage your YouTube channel. You can check out TubeBuddy through the link down in the description below, or you can go to tubebuddy.com/Nimmin. And this stream is brought to you by StreamYard, which is the live streaming platform that I use to stream this every single Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. And the reason that I use it, because it's easy. I don't like difficult stuff. I mean, I do like some difficult stuff. I like tinkering with it and figuring it out, but I like things that I can rely on. So here's what happened to me yesterday. I have a news segment that I do every Friday, as long as there's news to talk about that impacts content creators. And I have a green screen as part of that. So what I do is I use OBS and I port it through StreamYard so that StreamYard will hold it open in the event that I have like an internet problem or something like that. Well, I was minutes away from going live and OBS completely froze up on me. So because of that, I'm like, okay, reach back, drop the green screen, killed OBS, came right into StreamYard, switched my camera to pick the right camera, and then was able to just pick it up right there and keep going. So those types of problems in terms of like freezing up or just not working doesn't happen with StreamYard because everything is hosted in the cloud. So if you're a live streamer, make sure that you check out StreamYard. You can check them out at streamyard.com, or of course I got a link to them down in the description as well. With that stuff out of the way, housekeeping, I like to call that. Super pumped up to be here today. Hope that you've had a fantastic week. Hope that everything is going awesome for you on YouTube. So we've got YouTube monetization now on YouTube Shorts. Some people are like, hey, this is great because now I can make money from something that I wasn't making money from before. And then other people are like, hey, this sucks because I'm getting a lot of views, but I'm not making a lot of money on YouTube Shorts. So if you are monetizing YouTube Shorts right now in terms of you are now getting money because you are in the partner program and you participate in Shorts, just say me. Let me know, just out of curiosity, just trying to get a pulse here in terms of how many people are currently using that and monetized as well. So for me, so far, out of a relatively low amount of views, I've made, I posted it earlier in the chat, but it's like $1 and some change. And one thing to keep in mind when you are looking for this is, oops, wrong one, is when you are going in to look at how much you've generated from Shorts, it's going to default you to the 28-day view. So make sure that you do change it to February so you can see what's been generated in February. So that you can make sure that you're seeing all the accurate information. But I've generated $1.37 so far that I wouldn't have gotten otherwise from YouTube Shorts. So that's a win in my book. That's one more $1.37 that is going to go for retirement or, something, fun like that. Maybe a, new camera in the future, who knows, but it adds to the pile, which is super important. So, so because of that, I'm super excited that they have these monetized and we get this opportunity now. So really quick, I'm just going to give some shout outs before we get into the content today and start answering some questions. And I do want to remind you, if you are just joining us, I've got a link down in the description that will take you to a form. And that form is where I'm going to be pulling the questions from in the order that they are received. This is all free, thankfully, for our sponsors. And because of that, like if you just have a question about something you're trying to figure out on YouTube, make sure you put it down in that form and then we'll try to get it answered on the show here today. And if it doesn't get answered, then hopefully I'll use it in another piece of content in the future or something like that so that we can ultimately get it answered for you. But really quick, Jerry Pop Andrew, what's up, my man? Hope you're doing awesome. Chantel Hills, nice to see you in here today. Square Table Degenerates, nice to see you here also. Your driver, Mike, what's up, man? Hope that you are doing fantastic. Making it your own DIYs, good morning to you as well. Hope you're doing awesome. VVS Tips and Tricks, nice to see you. Renee Ritchie in the house. What's up, man? Hope you're doing awesome. Says, it's 42 degrees with wind chill here today, so I need some hot takes. You want a hot take? Here's a hot take. You know what I don't like about YouTube? I was just talking to my brother about this today, and this isn't on YouTube. This is on the creator side. So one thing I don't like about YouTube, and it's just kind of the nature of the beast, unfortunately, because it's the path that people are told to walk, but it's unfortunate. So the thing that I don't like, just for a quick hot take, is, we got a lot of new content creators in here. So for those of you that are new, you're going to appreciate this, I'm sure. But one thing I don't like is when a new content creator has an original video that they put up and they come up with this really cool idea. Nobody's done it before in terms of a piece of content to put together. They put it together, starts getting tons and tons of views, literally puts that channel on the map and is responsible for a lot of the momentum that's happening on that channel. And then somebody copies it and they take the same exact title, the same exact concept, and share pretty much the same exact information as that originating video. And then, because it's a larger channel, the whole thing gets amplified quite a bit. And then you start having other people that are copying that same thing from the other channel that's already, a decent size, which ends up long-term diluting the power of the originating content that the new content creator come up with. That's my hot take. I really don't like that at all. I just noticed something today where, I'm not gonna, call anybody out, of course, but I just noticed something today where one video was made. It's got like millions of views on it now. Somebody made a knockoff, I'll call it, recently, and then somebody did it in a way that's actually better, to where they took the idea and they're like, hey, this doesn't really apply to what it is that I'm doing, but let me actually come up with something that applies to my niche. But then they copied the thumbnail and the general structure from, the bigger channel. So it's just kind of crazy how that whole thing works, but it's just kind of the nature of the beast. But it really bothers me because I think that takes away from the content creator that originally came up with the super unique idea. And they're literally riding that video right now like a rocket ship on their YouTube channel. And now, everybody's like, oh, it's doing good, so now let's, make a version of it and then copy the exact same thing. It just bothers me. But anyway, we're going to keep this positive. I hope everybody's having a fantastic week. I hope that you're ready to learn something about YouTube today. Hopefully by the time we're done with this stream, you're going to walk away with, some information that you didn't have before, or maybe at the very least, just some motivation or just a little bit of a, better understanding of, what's important to get results here on YouTube, or maybe solve another problem that you are currently having around your YouTube channel. Dean Inman in the house. What's up, D? Hope you are doing awesome. I know you are. We just had some food. Hey, man, I was in Doug Houston's stream right before this, and that's why I didn't shout him out yet. But I was in his stream, and I was like, hey, what kind of pizza do you like? And he's like, yeah, pretty much anything as long as it doesn't have pineapple on it. I almost just got up and walked out of it. I was like, what? I'm not even going to stream today, with hearing that kind of stuff happen. So no, I'm just kidding, Doug. He did say that, D, but no, I'm just giving you a hard time, Doug, on that. What's up, Doug? Hope you're doing awesome. Chantel says Team Pineapple. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get into the actual content. That's what you're here for. We're going to start answering these YouTube questions. And by the way, if you're just joining us, we're talking about all things related to YouTube. I got a form down in the description where you can put your questions in there for free. And we're going to answer as many as we possibly can here on the stream today. So the very first question here is from Jaden Suh. I think I'm saying that correctly. Jaden Suh does gaming content. The goal of the channel is to get monetized. And the question is, do you need to be active with the YouTube channel to get a gifted membership? You need to have a YouTube channel, but you don't have to be active with that YouTube channel. Basically when those are gifted, they are just gifted to, people that just, are in the chat. So in terms of, you having to be uploading a certain amount of videos and things like that, no, you do not. Next up, really quick, we got a super chat. That's from the Wildlife Guy. Wildlife Guy says, what's up? I have close to 9,000 subscribers. Congratulations. But I need about 2,000 more watch hours. Any advice on how to increase my watch hours? Absolutely. Of course, you're going to end up getting that, just through people enjoying your content anyway. But just make sure that you have everything set up properly on your YouTube channel to where you're making it easy for people to find more of your content. The best ways that you can currently do that on YouTube are through, of course, pinning a comment on your YouTube channel and all of your videos. So if you have videos that are getting, regular viewership, make sure that you're writing a comment recommending another one of your videos to them that would be relevant to the video that they're watching. And then you pin that. So for every comment on YouTube, you can even do this on your phone. For every comment on YouTube on your channel, you're going to see a little 3-dot menu over on the right-hand side of that comment. So what you want to do is you want to click on that. And then after, you want to write the comment and post it with a link going to like, hey, if you enjoyed this video about, fishing, then, check out our, playlist or our series on like all the, best stuff for fishing, something like that. And then put a link to that video or playlist. Playlist is better because you're trying to get watch time. Those binge watches will help. But basically, once you write that comment out and you hit post, then you go to that 3-dot menu. And then within that 3-dot menu, you're going to have the option to pin the comments. You want to do that. Next, you want to make sure that you're using your end screens because some content creators don't use those. It's kind of a default thing in terms of content creators like, okay, this is part of the thing, so I'm going to use it. But some content creators, they just don't see that or they just don't explore the interface enough. And, when those things are talked about, some people don't even know like how to put those together. So just in case, I'm just reminding you that you do have those end screens available as well. And the same exact thing applies to them is you want to make sure that with the video that they are currently watching, and this is the key to getting more people to click on that end screen video, with the video that they are currently watching, whatever the topic of that is, you want to think, okay, what would be the next logical video on my channel? I don't want to just put any video. I want to think this through and I want to think of the next logical video or playlist that I can recommend those viewers to watch. And then when you're making your content, on the content you already have, this part isn't going to be useful. Using end screens will, and making sure they're relevant will. But on your future content, make sure that when you are recommending that next video, that you don't use any finalizing language in your content so that people don't identify that the video is coming to an end. Things like, thanks for watching, or, hey, I hope you enjoyed this video, or hey, before you go, make sure you, hit the like button and subscribe and leave a comment and blah, blah. Like, don't do any of that stuff. Instead, as soon as you're done sharing the content that that they would have expected when they came in, drop your end screen on them and say something along the lines of, hey, if you're watching this video, it's probably because X, Y, Z. Well, I've got, a whole series that I put together about that. You can click into that right here. You can go ahead and click onto that now. I'll see you in the next video. And by doing that, what you're doing is you are giving people a reason to watch that next video. So instead of just having it show up on screen and leaving it on them, you're telling them kind of what's behind that click. And it's a video that will be on your channel, or it's a playlist where they can possibly get lost in more of your content or binge watch more of your content, which is a win. So make sure you're doing those things. In addition to that, you also want to make sure that you do have your channel page set up properly. So when people are watching YouTube videos, most of your activity is going to come from the videos themselves. However, there's going to be a lot of people that will also be like, hey, this is really good. Let me check their YouTube channel and see what else they have available. And when they click on your username, it's going to end up taking them over to your YouTube channel. Or if they're on a short, then it'll take them into your shorts, and then maybe they'll click into your channel from there. So what you want to make sure that you're doing is you want to make sure that you look at the content that people are enjoying most on your channel, and you look at the relevance of that content, and then you post at the very top, these are my most recent videos, and then underneath that, you start listing, you add playlists on your channel, then you add those on your homepage as a section. And then on that very top section, you want to make sure that you're featuring the content that people are coming to your channel for the most, topically, or the things that would be relevant to those people that are enjoying the content that's bringing in the most activity on your channel. And then from there, start working down. And the reason that you want to do this is because as people are hitting your YouTube channel, especially on a mobile device, which has, a lot of viewership on YouTube, you want to make sure that they're seeing the content that would be relevant to them first, right? So you want to make sure that you're ordering all that stuff down. Now, if you do those things, and of course, you're making content that people are really enjoying and all of that, then that's going to help you amplify what it is that you're doing with watch time. That will help you amplify your view counts. And if people are watching more than one video, then you're also increasing their likelihood of subscribing, and you're also increasing the likelihood, and this is like a more long game thing, but you're also increasing the likelihood of YouTube showing them more of your content in the future, because if they watch one video and have a satisfactory experience, YouTube, the system is like, hey, cool, let's recommend them some stuff in the future. If they watch 2 of your videos in a row and they have a great experience with both, then think of it as kind of like if there was a point system, then that would be a point in your favor, right? Like, oh, hey, not only are they watching this one video, but they're also watching another video when they watch this one video. This is great. And then if you can kind of keep that chain going a little bit, then what you're doing is you're increasing everything on your channel in terms of the on-channel activity that's happening in that moment, but then you're also increasing the likelihood of YouTube recommending your content to those people in the future, which then, as long as you can get them to click, pull them back into your content and repeat that process of giving them, you know, a great piece of content that they enjoy, then what's going to happen is that whole thing, as long as people are really enjoying your content, can kind of help lead you into that snowball effect because you're designing how people are going to be flowing through your content. This is why it's so important. And I know I'm going really long on this one, but there's a reason for it. You know, when you're trying to get that watch time, you know, you got to think of this stuff. But when you're putting your videos together, this is why it's really important to, instead of thinking like, okay, I'm just going to do this one video, and then next week I'll think of another video to do. Instead of taking that approach, start thinking, you know what? If somebody were to come into this video that I'm making now, what video would they watch next? Like what would be the best thing that I could make for the viewer that's watching this that they could watch next, and then I could publish that next. Now, of course, you can do that directly chained together, or you can say, hey, I'm going to add some videos to a series about this. I'm going to add some videos to a series about this, and add some videos to a series about this, and just kind of blend them in, but, you know, start putting them into those different series. But the idea is just make sure that you're thinking of more than one video every time you are trying to come up with video ideas. So if your video is about fishing, as an example, because that's what I said a minute ago, then in that particular case, then you want to make sure that you're like, hey, if this particular video is about finding the best fishing spots in Florida, then in that particular case, maybe the next video might be like fishing spots to avoid, right? So then logically, it's like, hey, if I'm watching a video about the best spots, and then I come to this video at the end, and it's like, these are the places that you want to avoid, then it's like, oh my gosh, I can't not watch this video because this is stuff that I'm trying to figure out the best one. So I need to make sure that I'm at least avoiding these over here, right? That's the idea. So, so hopefully that helps. Let's see here. So as we keep on going here, we've got Soothing Scenes. Did we do this one? Okay. Soothing Scenes says that they've been on YouTube for 1 year or more. They do relaxation content. The goal of the channel is to help people relax, study, meditate, and sleep. Love it. The question is, hey there, Nick, what's going on? Hope you're doing great. Says, thank you so much for answering my question a couple weeks ago about our channel being demonetized due to reuse of content. Good news. I followed your advice, made an appeal video showing them how our videos are made, and within 24 hours, we are monetized again. Whoop, whoop. Says, thank you. If anyone is in a similar situation and interested how we structured our appeal video, let them know. So fantastic news. Super glad that you got that taken care of. And that was Soothing Scenes that had that situation. So if if you're like, hey, I'm in a similar situation, want to figure out how to do that, they are right here in the chat right now with a little lucky icon next to their message there. So you can definitely hit them up to figure out how they did that if you happen to be in a similar situation. So awesome to hear that you got that taken care of. Next up, we have Basically DC. Basically DC says that the type of channel they have is they talk about all things DC comics and movies. And the goal of the channel is to have a positive place in the fandom where people can come and celebrate their love for DC. And the question is, how many YouTube shorts that I upload every day on days where I don't upload a long form video? You know, when it comes to, the upload cadence that you have, it really comes down to like, what can you fit in? What's appropriate for what it is that you're doing? How much can you, upload and maintain, balance in terms of, what it is that you're doing on YouTube, along with everything else that you're doing in your life, those types of things. So because of that, it's not just like, hey, how much should I upload? It's more like what fits into my schedule in a way that I'm going to be able to maintain that schedule for years to come, or at least the next 6 months, or at least the next year, at least 6 months. And the reason that you want to make sure that you're thinking about that is because, you can go hard, for a while. And in that process, you're probably going to learn a lot, all that, which is fantastic. And then, it can kind of speed up your learning curve. But keep in mind, in a lot of cases, that's going to be a limited thing. So, when you're deciding on your upload schedule. I got given this advice a long time ago and I didn't take it and I ended up burning out. So the one thing I can tell you is that, you know, if you can figure out an upload schedule that will sustain, or that you can sustain in terms of just balance with your life, you're going to have a much better mental experience as part of your YouTube channel versus just, you know, uploading content itself. So because of that, because you can monetize shorts and all that now, if you're in the partner program, if you are thinking to yourself like, hey, I want to do something on the days that I'm not uploading long form videos, then in that case, just do one. But if you're like, hey, I can do, you know, a couple more, then experiment on your channel and figure out, you know, what your tolerance is for your audience and figure out what it is that they, you know, that they respond to best. I wish I could give you an exact there, but there's just so much nuance in terms of like what the right thing is to do there that I really can't, you know, say like do, you know, this, you know, particular thing. VBS tips and tricks. Thank you for the super sticker, the super chat there. Super appreciated. Crazy Lucian.
Welcome to the Niminati.
And Miss QT is in the building. Both of you, first off, welcome to the Niminati, to the channel membership. So just as a heads up, when you get the opportunity, go to niminvip.com. That's going to redirect you to the service that I use to manage my memberships, set up everything over there. And then as part of that flow, it's going to give you access to our members only Facebook group. So make sure you go through that process here before the stream is over today or shortly after the stream is over. And once the stream is complete, I'll get you into our members only Facebook group. And as you're going through that process, like you're going to get some perks like immediately as soon as you go over there and start doing that. So let's see here. So the Wildlife Guy says, thank you so much for that great advice. My pleasure. Happy to help. It's what we're here for today. So let's see here. So next up on our list, hey, and really quick, as just a quick reminder for those of you that are TubeSpanner users, make sure you get out your TubeSpanner notepad. And the reason for that is just to make sure that, you know, you can keep notes on, you know, all the different things that we're talking about today during the stream. If you're not familiar with TubeSpanner and the notepad part, basically you can take notes on like this stream or any video on YouTube, and you can actually come back to the video and you'll see all your notes, or you can even download those notes. So you can just have them, you know, on your computer or whatever, so that once once the stream is complete, you'll have, you know, lists of all the things that you learned, and also, you know, any additional, you know, information that you want to add to those notes to help you remember stuff. But in addition to that, they've got tons of other tools that will help you with your YouTube channel, AI script writers, link and bio tools, video idea, you know, things and stuff like that. So make sure that you check out TubeSpanner when you get a chance. Let's see here. So let me turn this off. That actually shouldn't be there. Oh, that's the banner that's there. Okay, there we go. Got it. Getting situated here. Okay, so next up on our list, we got Speak English with This Guy. Speak English with This Guy says that they do education and English learner content. Goal of the channel is to make the most helpful English learning content as possible. And the question is, I've seen a tremendous amount of growth on Instagram, 50,000 new followers in the last 2 days. Congratulations. That's huge. 50,000 new followers in 2 days. That's huge. Nice work. Says, what's the most effective way to get the right viewers over to YouTube? Because we all know YouTube is what really counts, right? So, so first is, if you have people that are continually interacting with your content, just mentioning in one of your videos, like, hey, you know, just a heads up, you can also find me on YouTube, but anyway, and then keep going on with your video. Or you can also drive people to your bio. And when you drive people to your bio, that gives you the opportunity to say, you know, hey, you know, to find me everywhere else, you know, check out my link in bio. And by doing that, you can go there and you can put a link. You can actually use TubeSpanner for this, as a matter of fact, where you can put a link you can put a TubeSpanner link in your bio. And when they hit that link, you can have like a YouTube video embedded so they can see an example of your content. You can have like a subscribe button right underneath that. In fact, if you go to nimin.bio right now, you can see my TubeSpanner bio that I use as well. You can use that as a way to kind of interlink everything it is that you're doing and make it where everybody can find you online. They actually have the first and only that I'm aware of currently social bio page that is made for content creators. So Science-Based Fitness, thank you for the super chat. It says, hey, I've been using TubeBuddy for a while and I'm wondering how important the lowest ranking video stat is. I feel like I'm using the app wrong. Thanks. So when it comes to TubeBuddy, in terms of the lowest top ranking video, I'm not sure exactly what it is that you are referring to there. If you could do me a favor, and because I think we're connected on Twitter, if you could do me a favor and just send me like a screenshot of what it is that you're talking about on Twitter, and then I can help you out over there, because we're already connected over there anyway, I believe. So if you could just send me that DM, once the stream is over today, I'll probably be checking the DMs. If not, then I should end up checking them out tomorrow, and then I can help you out directly there. Spike Wade says, most of my audience is from shorts. Should I go all in on shorts or do long form as well to hopefully monetize quicker? Those 10 million views seem crazy. Does seem like a pretty high mountain to climb, right? But keep in mind that people also have similar difficulties when it comes to, some of the other requirements as well. So like some people, just to give you perspective, because I know everybody here is in a different place. Some of you are trying to get into the partner program, but the approach that you're taking, like one number's up, the other number's down, things like that. So just as a heads up, like it's normal for like, a channel, like maybe you're getting a lot of views, maybe you're getting a lot of watch time, but for whatever reason, people just aren't converting into subscribers. And that's the problem. In other cases, your subscribers, you get those super quick, but then, it takes you a while to get the actual watch time, like the channel that we, were talking about earlier. And then, the other thing is like when it comes to, shorts, then there you have it to where it's like, okay, well, if I'm not going to try it with the long form, then let me try it with shorts. And then there, you still have to get the 1,000 subscribers, but then you also have to get the 10 million views. So all of it is challenging, to an extent. And, that's why you have to, kind of pay your dues, so to speak, to get into the partner program. But because of that, when it comes to YouTube Shorts, if your audience is there and the type of content that you have and your grind in terms of how much you're uploading has the potential to reach that 10 million views in a 90-day period, then in that particular case, if you enjoy doing shorts more and you can add the value that you're trying to add through YouTube Shorts, then by all means do it through that. But if you're like, that's probably not realistic for the type of content and the reach that I'm currently getting with what it is that I'm doing. Therefore, I'm going to also try my hand at making longer form content and getting people to respond that way. Then in that particular case, I would take that approach. But keep in mind when it comes to shorts, like the things that are different when it comes to long form content and short form content or short content is that, when it comes to YouTube Shorts, they just kind of happen to people. So like if I'm sitting here and I'm, just sitting here looking in shorts, I can swipe up and then YouTube might recommend to me one of your shorts without me having to do anything besides swipe. I don't have to make any conscious choice about the content I'm going to watch. But when it comes to getting attention from like a homepage, it's a lot different there, because not only do you have to make the content that people respond to, and YouTube has to detect that people are enjoying your content, so they'll, end up showing it to more people and end up showing it to more of the right people. But in addition to that, you also have to make sure that in addition to the skill of making a good video, you also have to be able to grab their attention with your thumbnail and get them to click with your thumbnail and title. So, because of that, you're adding more skill sets to what it is that you're doing. But as a content creator, you should be doing this anyway, developing this side of things. So because of that, if you are in that position to where you're like, you know what, I could hit 10 million maybe if I, grind it out and I do all that, and I definitely have this space in my life to where I can, do that much work in order to try to make this happen, then in that case, I would go after it, but I wouldn't just leave long form content as I'm probably not ever going to do that. And the reason for that is just because, everything kind of has its purpose. So depending on your goals, then, that's where you have to decide exactly what it is that you're going to publish. But if you're just trying to get into the partner program, people, of course, will watch, a 10-minute video, in some cases for the entire 10 minutes. But if somebody really enjoys your short, then in that particular case, that one short view that you get, if they click into your channel from that short, then they can sit there and they could watch, 5 or 10 different videos from one viewer, as long as you're thinking through this short, and then I'm publishing this short and this short and this short, and it's all relative to the audience, and this would be the flow that people would actually watch these in, and it makes sense on how I'm uploading them. Then in that case, you'd be able to amplify the views that you're getting, relatively quickly. But 10 million is a lot. So because of that, I would just balance out like what, with what it is that I have with my channel, the potential reach with the type of content that I'm making, and my current skill sets on how good am I at getting people to click, and how good am I at making long form content that will, be a good experience for the people that are interacting with it. Crazy Lucian says, thank you for the warm welcome. Yeah, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the Niminati. We're all like super like laid back here. So everybody that's hanging out in the chat, like we have an awesome crowd here. Everybody's like super cool, super kind. Everybody's laid back. It's awesome. Cato Simple,
Super
thank you for the super chat as well, says, how long till we should be able to pick up shorts thumbnails? Choosing the right frame makes a big difference. YouTube seems to pick the worst possible. They do. And when it comes to the actual, thumbnail itself, I have no idea what their plans are for, letting us, make custom thumbnails for those again. Unfortunately, it does seem that, with them limiting us to picking like a frame, I think it's fortunate and unfortunate. So if you're somebody that knows how to make thumbnails and you know how to get, that attention, then in that particular case, a custom thumbnail would be awesome, right? Because hey, I can make, thumbnails that people will respond to. So it's like, man, I'm missing out because they're not letting me use the thumbnails. I'd be able to pull people in from like a mobile homepage if they just let me use the thumbnail. And then you have on the other side to where it's like, hey, let's level the playing field and let's make it to where everybody can only pick a screenshot. And then through that screenshot, that's all they have to kind of illustrate the type of content that they're putting out. But once people are in the actual shorts feed, then in that particular case, we're going to be showing them the shorts. So it's really going to be dependent more on the video content than the content creator's ability to get somebody to click, which is sort of a win, kind of. But the place where everything falls apart there is YouTube still will put shorts on home pages. They'll still put shorts as recommended. You'll still see shorts popping up in end screens. And I don't know why they do that, but you'll still see shorts popping up in end screens as well. So because of that, in my opinion, I think that they should say, hey, here you can put thumbnails, full custom thumbnails on your YouTube shorts, but we're only going to show them when they pop up on end screens. We're only going to show them if they're on a home page, if they're on YouTube search, or if they're on, suggested videos. I think that would be the better approach, because then that way it would make the content appropriate for, or help it kind of blend in to where people are, experiencing YouTube. And then on the short shelf itself, in that particular case, because it's vertical, then, they don't have to, let people use shorts, and they can just use, the built-in version. That's fine, where you can select that screenshot. But I personally believe that they should make it to where we can put shorts for, the general recommendations for the platform. Because look, I'll show you right now. Let me pull this up real quick on my stats. But like when it comes to my YouTube shorts, I'm actually getting more traffic in my YouTube shorts. I'm getting more traffic from, let's see here. Yeah, so right here, let me make sure I'm not exposing anything. Okay, so basically right here, if you can see this, let me turn off my automation really quick. So I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this or not, but if you look at mine, I'm getting most of my traffic from recommendation. Well, I'm getting it from YouTube search, and I'm getting it from home pages. Like, I'm getting way more traffic there than I am from the shorts feed itself, which is, kind of interesting. Not way more in terms of browse features, but, way more from YouTube search than I am from anywhere else. And that's particularly from one, very specific short. But because of that, I think that they should definitely let us, use thumbnails for anything on in the main system like that isn't actually in the shorts feed. Let's see here. So next up on our list, we're going to get back into the forum right here in just a second. So TubeSpanner, hey, what's going on? Danielle says, I've been teaching Kim, the TubeSpanner AI, how to design thumbnails, but all she creates are images of herself in different poses. I think she has become selfie aware. Nice. I love it. Ooh. D says, shorts traffic isn't just about the shorts feed. I get browser and search traffic all the time in shorts. Absolutely. Renee says you'd have shorts on the short shelf and the shorts tab either way, where the thumbnail could help CTR, but again, add the same competitive overhead as long form. Yeah, I think on the competitive side, just on the other features, when it's not in the feed, I think that, I definitely think that would be the win in that particular situation. LaRon Henderson, thank you for the super chat, says, any recommendations for Amazon affiliate links? Should I also put them on shorts? They don't seem to be clickable on shorts. So when it comes to your affiliate links for Amazon, if you are an Amazon associate, then in that case, you should definitely be using that in your videos as a way to generate more income from what it is that you're doing that is alternate or an alternative to on-platform monetization. Keep in mind, just as a quick disclaimer here, just so you know this, make sure that if you are doing that that you do put the recommended Amazon Associates disclaimer down in your video description. Just letting people know that affiliate links are down there is like an FTC thing. But in addition to that, Amazon also has very specific language that they want you to use. So just make sure that you're doing that if you're not already. But when it comes to you using Amazon links, it's important to also make sure that you're thinking of linking to relevant things. So a huge mistake that I see a lot of content creators making, and actually we're doing monetization streams now, to where basically during those monetization streams, I do channel reviews and we just brainstorm on different ways that they can make money from what they're doing. And one of the things that I keep seeing is that people are linking to things that aren't relevant to their audience. So for example, YouTubers, the default thing that they'll link to, and some people recommend that they do this, but some of the things that they will link to is they'll link to like, hey, these are the cameras that I use. Well, if you're making like, DIY content about like you're restoring stuff, then, those people don't really care that are interacting with your content. They don't really care what you're making your content on. What they care about is the tools that you're using to restore the stuff, or maybe the rags that you're using to wipe everything down, or the particular sponge that you're using that has like some little corner angle on it, or whatever the thing is. Like those are the things that the people that are watching those videos care about. So like when you are using Amazon links or affiliate links in any capacity, make sure that you're always thinking like, for the audience that I'm reaching that would be, enjoying this content, like what would they be interested in, right? I'm interested in YouTube gear, but like what would they be interested in? And link to those types of things. And then of course, level it up by making sure that you mention in your videos. So for example, like if I was, making a video about, something related to cameras, and I was trying to bring attention to this remote as an affiliate, then I would say like, yeah, I picked up this remote. It's great, for my camera. Basically it allows me to just kind of switch back and forth between like video mode and photo mode. And then I can, just kind of start the camera from anywhere in the room. It's great. I got a link to this down in the description if anybody's interested. But anyway, we're going to get back into the actual content and, continue answering your question. So then that way you just briefly put a highlight on it, and then you can just keep trucking without having to interrupt, the viewer experience really by bringing attention to it, because then that way it's more of like, hey, I've got this thing and, I find it useful. You might too, therefore I've got a link to it down in the description, right? So it's just a good approach to take. But in terms of including them in shorts, I would go ahead and put them in shorts. I actually have links in some of my shorts as well. I would go ahead and put them in there just because, even if they're not clickable, some people will actually, copy them out and, paste them wherever it is that they need to be. And we don't know, with some shorts or maybe even some locations, because YouTube is constantly testing stuff. So because of that, some people might see them as clickable, some people might not, I'm not sure. But, with those types of things, some people, if they really want the thing, then they will, copy it and paste it out. So you want to make sure that you're just giving yourself that opportunity. And, on the other side of, doing things as an affiliate, like you're also like, yes, you're making money, but you're also, using that as a way to bring attention to things that, the people that are watching your content, they might not even know about them, right? That's why, we have the sponsored stuff that we do here as an example, when I mentioned like TubeBuddy and StreamYard and all of that. But then I also, because I want everybody to know about TubeSpanner, that's why I have the notepad thing that I do in there, because it's one, to remind people that already use it, but then two, it's also just as a way to just let people know that there's another tool out there as well that can also help you with a whole set of other things that the other tools that, that a lot of people use aren't currently, they're just not, doing those things. So anything that you can bring attention to that will help make things easier for the people that are interacting with your content or add value to them, definitely do it. If you don't, then you're missing opportunities. And as a quick heads up with that too, I know a lot of you are new content creators. So if you're a new content creator, it's even more important, because some of you are trying to use YouTube as like a side hustle, or maybe as a way to go full-time as a content creator, things like that. And if you wait for a really long time before you start, doing like affiliate marketing and trying to think of different ways to monetize the content that you're making, then you're going to miss out on all of these videos that you could be making that could be, driving a sale here, sale there, sale here, sale there, to where things start adding up over time. And then when you have all of that stuff put into place, then your income can grow as your channel grows, which is fantastic. So because of that, wherever it is that you're on the journey, everybody here, if you are someone that is interested in, making money from, from doing all this stuff, then in that case, I would definitely start considering that stuff now, regardless of, where you're at in the process. So next up on our list here, this one is coming from One Step. What's going on, One Step? And really quick, I think there was one that I missed in here. I'm just going to double check. Okay, we got that one taken care of. Oh yeah, here it is. Tony Rome says 3 weeks ago, my channel was doing fantastic. Watch time, views, subscribers, good. Suddenly everything has been flat for 2 weeks now, everything low. So keep in mind, when you are publishing videos to YouTube, you know, all it takes is you having like 1 or 2 really strong videos and those videos falling off for you to feel that type of impact. Happens to channels all the time. But the idea is, you know, when those types of things happen, you need to go into your YouTube analytics, look in your traffic sources report, and you'll be able to see kind of where the fall off happened. And then you can go into your videos, and you can start figuring out exactly what videos fell off and that sort of thing. But what you need to make sure you're thinking about is, one, confirm that your channel is like, you know, targeting a very specific audience, that you don't have a bunch of variety content. Next, you want to make sure that you're publishing at least on a somewhat regular basis, because YouTube has, I think it's in the creator tips area, where they mention that if you don't publish on a, you know, regular basis, they don't define what regular basis means, but they say, you know, if you're not publishing regularly, then that can hurt you in recommendations. And you can also even see that impacting your search traffic negatively too. So because of that, making sure that you do get some type of schedule together that you can stay consistent, you know, or just publish on a regular basis is definitely something you want to make sure that you do. But in terms of, you know, things kind of falling off and going flat, keep in mind, YouTube is an ecosystem, right? So because of that, when your videos, like let's say that you have your videos that are doing like really well, or maybe they're in the next up spot on high performing or high traffic videos, and then somebody makes another video that YouTube detects people are enjoying more for that are connected to some of those, you know, higher performing videos that are driving you lots of traffic, then what can happen is it can bump you out of that next up spot and end up putting them in the next up spot on some of those videos for some of those viewers. And because of that, that can also kind of ripple down to you and your channel and what's happening to you. So because of that, that's another reason that you want to just be putting out content on a regular basis as well, because one, you will be able to make up as, you know, you do have videos fall off, because it's just part of the thing. As you have, you know, some videos pop, some videos will, you know, pop for a little bit, fall off. Some videos will pop and just stay popping for, you know, a year or 2 years or whatever, and then they'll fall off, and it's just part of the nature of the beast, so to speak. Okay, so that catches us up there. And Tom Nash, what's up, my man? Hope that you are doing fantastic. I didn't see the actual message, but I see in my system over here that you dropped a message. Here we go. It says, Nick, your quality of advice is only second to your humble and non-pretentious personality. I love to see you do big things, man. Tom Nash. Thank you, Tom, for the kind words, dude. Super, super appreciate it there. And non-pretentious personality. You should meet me in person. I'm really a jerk. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, seriously though, man. Thanks for the kind words. I really appreciate it. Okay, so our next question that we're doing here is from One Step. We got a little, you know, sidetracked there on, you know, some other things. But so here, One Step says they do fighting games. The goal of the channel is to go full-time doing what I love, baby. Woo! And I added the woo. They just said, go full-time doing what I love, baby. And the question is, hey, my dude, what's going on? It says, good morning. I hope that you're doing well. Hey, I think that I've asked this before, but I really want to double check your thoughts. So I cover fighting games in my videos and shorts. However, when I stream, it's more of what I do, what I want, because I figure I'm going to play it off stream. So I might as well stream it and hang out with my fans. I do stream fighting games, sure, but not all the time. I stream other games, not for the sake of growing, but for the sake of hanging out with my fans. Is this hurting my channel in any way? Why or why not? Thank you for all that you do. Take it one step at a time. So when it comes to you hanging out with your viewers and playing a particular game, as long as you're having people show up, as long as they're enjoying that content, and as long as they're enjoying hanging out, then that shouldn't be having any type of negative impact on your channel. If you find that you're just like bleeding subscribers in terms of like tons of people, when they start interacting with your streams, they start unsubscribing, things like that, then in that particular case, you have to make that choice on, okay, people are unsubscribing from me at a relatively high rate for this. So because of that, I need to really make sure that the purpose of that I'm doing these for is worth that loss, right? And if the answer to that is like, yes, it is, because I really want to hang out, I really want to show the people like this side of me, then in that case, then yes, absolutely keep live streaming. However, if it's like, you know, because you're still playing games, you're still, you know, doing the thing, you are just playing fighting games sometimes, you're doing other games other times. So another thing to remember as well is that when people come into your streams, some of those people that mostly play fighting games, when they come into your stream, some of them will just hang out anyway, just because they enjoy your content. Maybe they want to be introduced to that game or see your perspective on that game or whatever. So live streams are great just in general as a way to just, connect with the people that are interacting with your content and, just show them, different sides and different interests that you have and things like that, as long as it's in alignment with, the general stuff of what it is that you do. So for example, even though this stream is, for the purpose of answering your questions about YouTube, on the other side of that, you'll still hear me talk about things like the little rant that I did before about, the thing that I don't like about YouTube, in terms of people, copying original ideas. And then you'll also, hear me talk about, pineapple on pizza, from Doug's stream that he did, or maybe you'll hear me talk about something else from life. And then I'll hop back on track and continue going on with, the subject that, people are showing up for. So, kind of sprinkling that stuff into the value that you're giving, is an effective approach. But as long as you have people that are enjoying your streams and they're hanging out, then in that case, it shouldn't be making any impact at all. But one thing that you can do, is you can go into your YouTube analytics and you can sort by date range. You can even compare by date range. So because of that, you can actually go and look at your YouTube channel and the performance of everything, before you started streaming, and you can compare that to once you started streaming, and then you can see if you notice a difference in anything. And just looking into that will give you insights one way or the other on, if what you're doing is having a good or bad effect for what it is that you're doing. Local Marks Fishing says, thank you for the super chat, by the way. Says, thank you, Nick. Your advice has helped to change my life. I'm now a full-time influencer. High five and fist bump to you for that. I absolutely love when those messages come in. Congratulations to you for that. And it's funny because we were talking about fishing stuff earlier. So the timing there was pretty epic too, but congratulations to you for taking that leap. And a really cool thing also is like now, that you're a full-time creator and you can just, this is what you do. Like now you can level up what it is that you're doing. You'll have the opportunity to, make extra content for your fishing, channel and make sure that that's as good as it can be. But then because this is what you do now, if you want to, you even have the space, to where you can start, another YouTube channel about something else, or, a TikTok account or Instagram account, things like that. Because, now that you don't have to go and report somewhere, and I say report somewhere because that's kind of how it goes. Now you have to go and report somewhere, clock in, every day, it gives you a lot more time where you're not commuting, things like that. And, you can use that time to further amplify your brand online, which is a huge, huge win. So now that you've crossed that threshold, like now is where you turn that notch up, or you turn that machine up to 100 and you just go for it. And then you kind of secure your moment, so to speak, for lack of a better way to say that. Shark Scrapper, my man, what's going on, dude? Hope you're doing awesome. So let's see here. So next up, we've got The Gaming Shelf. The Gaming Shelf. They do content, or they've been making videos for 1 year or more. They do gaming content. How many gamers do we have here? If you're a gamer, just say me. The goal of the channel is to continue to grow my channel's revenue. And the question is, how can I get more consistent views? Some of my videos get 50 to 100,000 views, while others can barely crack 5,000. I'm really struggling with this, so please go as in-depth as you can. Okay, this is a fantastic question. So what you want to make sure, okay, so we got some gamers coming in here. Nice, coming in a little bit slow on the gaming side. Okay, there we go. Starting to ramp it up a little bit, moving a little bit quicker. So yeah, decent amount of gamers. Nice, love it. So when you are getting videos that are way outperforming other videos that you have on your channel, there are clues all over everything it is that you're doing. So the very first thing that you need to do is you need to take one of your high performing videos, go into your advanced analytics, and you want to be on a computer for this. Hey, Ron, hope you're doing awesome. Nice to see you in the stream, man. So what you want to do is you want to go into your advanced mode in your YouTube analytics, and you want to select the video, or go into your content, select the video that has, that's thriving, right? This one, great. Then go into your analytics for that particular video. And then up in the top right-hand corner of the screen, you're going to see something that says advanced mode. Click on advanced mode. That's going to take you into the advanced side of YouTube analytics. Once you're in there, you're going to be seeing that on the one video. Over on the right-hand side, you're going to see a compare option. Click on that and then select the video, or one of the videos that are getting 5,000 views. From there, you are going to be able to start seeing why one video performs better than the other. But when you're looking at this information, make sure that you're keeping in mind the impressions that you're getting on both of them, because you have to keep that in mind for like real context for what's going on. So for example, if you were to compare, an apple to an apple in that case, in terms of like, this is a video and this is a video, and I'm not going to consider impressions, then in that case, what you're going to be looking at is it's going to be like, okay, This video here, let's say it has like, 5% click-through rate, and I've got 5,000 views on this, and I've had 100,000 impressions. And then you look at this video over here and you're like, hey, I got a 5% click-through rate on this one too, but I've got like, a million, well, depending on the number. So let's say, I've got, a million, impressions on this particular one. And then it's like, okay, well, they both have 5 million views. But if you look at how many impressions, the one, with 1 million impressions is actually doing way better because you've been able to maintain that 5% where you've dropped already down to 5% with the small amount of impressions that you've had on the one that has 5,000, right? So you have to keep impressions in mind when you're looking at this. But in addition to that, you also want to make sure you're comparing like your audience retention and other engagement metrics as well. And then from there, you want to kind of detach because that's going to just paint the picture for you in terms of like why one's doing better than the other, statistically, but those are just a mirror of how people are responding to what it is that you're doing. So in addition to that, you also want to look at the traffic sources because you might find that like on the video with 5,000 views, maybe that one didn't get a great response in on like home pages or just recommendations in general. Maybe you're getting a lot of your traffic there from like YouTube search as an example. But if you look in your traffic sources report, which is also in your advanced analytics, then you're going to be able to see like, okay, this is how people are responding at the retention level, when it comes to browse. This is how people are responding when it comes to suggested or search, and you're going to be able to compare those things as well. So if you do that comparison, it's going to paint just a beautiful picture for you that's going to explain a lot about, what's behind why one video performed over the other. But then you have to take a step back and you have to say, okay, now this one has done substantially better. People clicked on this one more. People, watched this one for a longer time. People shared this one a lot more, whatever the thing is. So because of that, why do I think this one resonated so deeply with the people that are interacting with my content compared to this other one over here? Was it just the topic? Is this topic just a lot more general for the space that I'm in compared to this one, which goes down to the nitty gritty detail that you have to be pretty qualified to even be interested in this piece of content, at all. And you want to start thinking in those ways. And then you want to start looking at that content that performs well. And as you're going through that exercise of like, okay, why do I think people responded to this? You want to start thinking like, okay, was it, the imagery that I had in the thumbnail? Was it a super bright thumbnail or a super vibrant thumbnail compared to this one? Were there certain words that I used in the title or a way that I structured my title or the words that could have like triggered people in some way? It kind of made them want to click on it compared to this other title that maybe wasn't, as, compelling. And you want to start kind of piecing all that together. And then you want to write down all these different theories that you're coming up with on why you think people responded better. And then you want to start applying those theories to new content that you publish. Now, this is a little bit of a process because you're going to have to, write all this stuff down, and then you're going to have to go through some trial and error while you're publishing your content. But what you're going to do is you're going to start testing your theories with new content that you're publishing. So if you're like, hey, this super high click-through rate, people really love this. So when it comes to your click-through rate, that comes down to the topic of the video, the thumbnail, and then the title, because that's the only information people have from the outside. And of course, the autoplay that we have, now as well. So when you're looking at that, you have to think to yourself like, okay, if I think that it's because, it's super vibrant and stuff like that, then the next videos I'm going to do, I'm going to, make sure those are also super vibrant and see if I also get, really good click-through rate for these. But I'm also going to structure titles in a similar way, maybe even do something on a very similar topic and see how people respond to that. And then the same exact thing applies to where you can even look at that video that's getting less views and you can say, okay, if this one is like this in terms of, structurally with the title, all of that, thumbnails vibrant and all that, this one not so much, then you can actually go in and change some of the information, on the outside in terms of your thumbnail and your title for the video that underperformed. And you can kind of test some of your theories on the video that's already published, but the real wins are going to be, when you're publishing new content, because then you're going to start getting that information right out of the gate. But also in your audience retention, the same exact thing applies. So start looking at your audience retention and looking and being like, hey, in this particular case, I don't know why people stuck around in this one longer than they stuck around in this one. And then again, you have to start going through your theories on why you think that happened with your audience, with your content, and then start applying those theories to new content so you can start proving and disproving the theories that you have until you figure out the things that your audience responds to at the best level that you're willing to, get things to. So when it comes to, figuring out why videos perform better than others, tons of variables, of course, but a lot of times it can just be the topic itself not being that laser targeted fit for the audience that you're targeting with your content. So because of that, just make sure that you are in your analytics, because that'll help be your guide on, you know, what people respond to and how people respond to what it is that you're doing. Paul Peck Drywall Tube in the house. What's going on, dude? Hope that you are doing fantastic. Member for 54 months. Love it. Absolutely love it. Dee and I were talking about you the other day. Hope that you're doing awesome, man. So let's see here. So next up on our list.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
We did the gaming shelf already. So next up we've got, that was the gaming shelf again. So we got Riti Mami. I hope I'm saying that correctly. They do lifestyle content. The goal of the channel is to build a community and make money. And the question is, how can I grow my audience? My shorts get a lot of views, but my long form doesn't. So what happens when how many people are in the same exact situation? How many people here are getting like a lot of views with your YouTube shorts, but when it comes to the long form content, you're just having trouble getting those videos off the ground? If you're in that situation, then just say me. And the reason I'm asking this is because I know that this is a problem that a lot of content creators are having, to where it's like, hey, I'm doing these shorts, man. I'm doing awesome in shorts. They're growing my channel. I'm getting watch time. You know, maybe I'm even getting close to like the the partner program, whatever. Like, shorts are great, but man, when I publish a long form video, people just like, it's just not happening. Okay, so we got a lot. Okay, so when it comes to that, one thing that's really important to understand, and I kind of touched on this earlier as well, is that every part of being a content creator requires different skill sets, different understandings, and things like that. YouTube shorts are the easiest way to enter the hobby or the career of being a content creator. And the reason for that is because there's the least amount of skill required. I mean, you still have to have skill, right, in order to get people to respond to your shorts. So if you're getting people to respond to your shorts, I'm not discounting that in any way, shape, or form. I want to make that clear. If you're getting people to respond, like, you're doing the thing. But what I'm saying is, when it comes to YouTube shorts, that takes, the lowest amount of skills out of all the other stuff that is available on your YouTube channel in terms of formats for videos. So when it comes to YouTube shorts, all you have to do is be able, I say all you have to do, but there's nuance in this, but all you have to do is be able to grab somebody's attention when your short starts, give them something interesting, something entertaining, to watch, during that process that will keep them engaged. And then, of course, either loop it at the end if you want to, or just, give them that great experience with that. But the win with shorts, and the reason that it's a great entry point for new content creators, is because all you got to do is be able to grab their attention. Somebody's going to swipe up, and then you just have to grab their attention and take them through the content, right? Whereas with the long form content, it's a totally different game. And the reason it's a totally different game is because not only do you have to make good videos that are longer, right? So you're not just keeping people watching for 20 seconds or 30 seconds or a minute or 15 seconds. You're keeping people watching for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, in some cases, depending on the type of content you make. And that by itself is like a whole other thing compared to what it is that you're doing with YouTube shorts. And then on top of that, you also have to learn how to get people to click, which is like a whole other thing too. So because of that, when it comes to YouTube shorts, like, you just have to get good at making video, which makes that point of entry just amazing and unprecedented in terms of, YouTube and the opportunity that you have to actually get attention on the platform. But when it comes to the long form content, you have to work on that skill. And for a lot of people, it's a lot of work and a lot of development that they have to do in order to, like, really understand how to get people to click on what it is that they're doing. Because, the ability to put together a thumbnail and sit back, and it sounds easy in terms of like, okay, I'm just going to make this thumbnail, and the goal of this thumbnail is to help people identify that this content is something that they're interested in, and hopefully make it, interesting enough to where it'll kind of stand out on YouTube against all the other content that people are getting recommended. So, like, that's it for the thumbnail, right? So within that, it's difficult because, some people put text on their thumbnails. Some people will not really know what to focus the viewer on because of their content. Some people will just overcomplicate their thumbnails and make it to where people will just glance right over them because what it is that actually needs to be focused on, they're, covering up, or they're distracting people with a bunch of other things, and it makes their brain just kind of go right over it, those sorts of things. And then when it comes to your title, the same exact thing happens to where, that skill set of just writing a title, it sounds so basic in terms of like, well, yeah, I'm just titling my video. What's the big deal? But there's a huge difference between writing a title that's informative, which is step one. How can I just make this informative? Versus writing a title that is compelling, right? Huge difference in those two things. So because of that, you have to learn the skill and get better at the skill of being able to grab somebody's attention off of the YouTube homepage when a viewer is not expecting to watch your content, and then pull them into your content from there while they're being presented all of this other content that you're competing with, right? So that's why when a content creator starts in YouTube Shorts, they typically have a little bit more of a difficult time just getting that, initial attention on that long form content. So make sure that you're keeping that in mind when you're running into that challenge. Like if you can't get that response, then what you need to do is you need to kind of go back to the drawing board and you need to start thinking like, okay, when it comes to this longer form content, this is a different game that I'm playing compared to making YouTube Shorts. So because of that, I need to start working on my skills of like learning how to tell a better story, learning how to, put a video together in a way that's going to, make people keep watching or just be a pleasurable experience for people or an enjoyable experience for people. And then I got to learn how to, I got to spend time analyzing other YouTube videos, watching, videos on how to write titles, how to make thumbnails, things like that, using the tools. Right? Like for example, Canva has a thumbnail maker, TubeSpanner has a thumbnail maker, TubeBuddy has a thumbnail maker, you have Photoshop, you have, I think GIMP is another one that you can use. You've got all these different apps now that you can make thumbnails with. Like, you can just sit there while you are doing something else, while you're waiting for somebody, while you're having, while you're waiting for school to start or your job to start or where you're taking a lunch break or whatever the thing is, just sitting there in some of these apps and just sit there and just whittle with thumbnails and just think to yourself, okay, if I was going to be publishing this thumbnail for my audience, like this is going to help you with this particular skill set, right? Because it's complicated. It seems like it's a big mountain to climb, but it's not really. What you need to do is when you are making your YouTube thumbnails, think to yourself, for the people that I'm trying to reach with this video, what about this thumbnail? And define it. What about this thumbnail is going to help them identify that this is about something that they're interested in? And is there anything else that I'm doing with this thumbnail that could distract them from that being blatantly obvious? If the answer is yes, then remove those things, right? And just focus on the thing that, that you're trying to grab attention for. Same exact thing goes for your title. Define why people would click on it. Okay, so if somebody sees my thumbnail, and you got to think of them together too, because they work together as a team to win the click. So you got to think, okay, if somebody grabs their attention, or if you grab their attention with the thumbnail, what about the title, right? Let's say the thumbnail is just an image. There's nothing really compelling about it, but it's informative, lets them know. Let's say you have a model train on there because you make videos about trains, then that helps them identify that it's about something they care about, right? So then from there, you have to say, okay, now let's move to my title. So my thumbnail is going to grab their attention and help them identify that this has something to do with trains or model trains. They're going to be able to see that at a glance, which means they're going to stop and look at my title for the people that are interested in trains in some capacity. So then when they're looking at my title, what is it about my title that's going to, one, inform them about what the video is about, or two, create some type of curiosity that would be compelling within its own right, or three, would be informative and compelling enough that it would get that viewer to click. And when you're thinking about that, define it again and say, okay, this right here, these words right here, this specific phrase is going to, help pull them over the edge in terms of clicking on my video, because this is going to be something that like train enthusiasts would love to know, or this is going to be something that train enthusiasts would be like, hey, that doesn't seem right. And they would click on it for that reason, because it would challenge them in some way. Like you need to make sure that you're going through that process of defining those things. And look, the best thing you can do, especially for those of you that are new, is just keep everything as simple as possible and start with just being informative. And then from there, like once you get that part down, you're like, okay, I'm being informative here, just letting people know like, hey, this is what the video is about. Then once you start getting some activity there, then start doubling down and like, okay, how can I make this a little bit more compelling? How can I make it to where they're not going to just click on it, but they're going to be like, I need to see this, right? And that by itself is also like a whole other thing in terms of like, how do I take somebody from wanting them to, just being like, hey, this seems like something I might be interested in, to like, wow, I need to make sure that I see this, right? So like in my case, as an example, like the videos that I make on like, mistakes YouTubers make, when a YouTuber sees those, it's like, oh, well, I don't want to make those mistakes. I need to click on this so that I can see what's going on here and make sure that I'm not doing any of these things wrong, right? So then when I write those titles and I come up with those topics, because that's where all this stuff starts, is at the topic. But like when when I'm coming up with those topics or I'm writing those titles, like those are the things that I'm thinking, is I'm like, okay, for YouTube content creators, this would matter to them. This would help them identify it, having this little YouTube icon, help them identify it's something about YouTube. And then this specific phrasing right here and this topic by itself is going to cause them to click on this. That's the idea. Magic Flying Potato. What's up, dude? Hope you're doing fantastic. Old Trish, nice to see you in here as well. So next up, we spent some time on that particular question, but hopefully that was helpful. So make sure that you're tapping. If you're watching this on a mobile device, make sure you're tapping that little heart thing down there on the right hand side of the screen. Give me some love there, so I know that you're getting some value out of this. Retro the Emperor. I need a sound pad just for you when you ask questions. Something just like dark and like epic sounding. That'd be great. So the type of channel here is me singing or rapping, sometimes beats. The goal of the channel is to make music full time. And the question, I think YouTube has blocked me from getting views on shorts because they had all the same titles. Did changing the titles work? So if you think that YouTube is penalizing you in some way, I would definitely send a tweet to Team YouTube on Twitter. It's all one word, Team YouTube, and just at them and let them know, the issue you're having. But if you have the same exact title, I would switch it up. I would have, different titles in there because you don't want to be like that repetitive with what it is that you're doing, especially if the video is extremely similar. So I would definitely, kind of mix up the titles a little bit. Let's see here. So as we keep on going, Organic Silver Moon Designs, thank you for the kind words. Miss Tori 22. Glad that you're enjoying the content. So let's see here. So next up on our list here, we got All Horse Racing All of the Time. They do sports horse racing analysis. The goal of the channel is to make a living with it while helping other horse players improve in their game. The question is, great show, Nick. Thank you. Thank you for the kind words. Since I've been binge watching, how can I encourage viewers to send more super chats? My live shows are averaging over 2,000 views a day with 1,750 subscribers, but rarely do the viewers send super chats. Any ideas? Thanks again. All the best, Al. So first off, congratulations to you on having, that much success with your live streams. Second is when it comes to super chats, people will usually do that just as like an appreciation thing, or they'll do it, in exchange for some type of value. So like here, for example, you'll see that in some cases, like here with, the one that Flash in Your Pan just dropped. Hey, what's going on, man? Hope you're doing awesome. Where he dropped, $2 as just as I always get value from your live, Nick, right? So that was like more of like an appreciation type of thing. And then other people will, post a super chat so that they'll get their questions answered. So what you want to think about with the, with the content that you're putting out, since you're doing like horse racing analysis, you want to make sure that you are also thinking like, okay, is there something that I could do that I could encourage people to do, to give more super chats for? So, if it's something like I'm doing with like a Q&A to where you have like a little session or a little part, and then you do what I do, which is you prioritize those super chats just because it's the right thing to do because they're, giving money. So because of that, as soon as people start identifying that that's what's happening, then the people that, want to get to the front of the line, then they will, they'll give you a super chat. So, those types of things is the way that you want to think about what it is that you're offering in your live stream. So of course, you're doing the thing. People are enjoying what it is that you're doing, but, you want to, make sure that you are providing something to where they're like, okay, yeah, like this is definitely worth, dropping a few. But keep in mind, like when you're watching my stream, like content creators know about super chats, but one thing that might be happening with your audience as well is they just might not even know that the option's available for a lot of them. So because of that, you can also put a call to action in there, which is basically where you are trying to prompt them to do something. Some people are comfortable with this, other people are not. So it depends on you and, your level of comfort and what it is that you're trying to do and how driven you are to do it. But when it comes to the call to action, basically what you would do is you'd say, hey, by the way, everybody, if you're enjoying this live stream, there's a button that you can click down under this live stream right here to where you can give something called a super chat. And it's kind of like a donation. And with that donation, that actually helps, kind of support the channel and helps me be able to continue making content like this. So if you're enjoying it, feel free to, to leave a super chat. But if not, no big deal. But just for those of you that are enjoying it, I just wanted to, let you know that that option's available. And then by doing that, you're spreading awareness that you have the super chat option available on YouTube so that they can use that if they want. And two, you're also giving a direct call to action saying, if you're enjoying this, drop a super chat, right? So I would take that approach to, to increase the amount of super chats that you're getting. Flash in Your Pan, thank you for the super chat, man. Super appreciated. Says, I always get value from your live, Nick. Thank you. Super appreciated. Glad as always that, that you're enjoying the content. Insane McLean, thank you for the super sticker. Super appreciate it. So let's see here. So next up on our list here, we've got Orange Game. Orange Game says they do a gaming channel. The goal of the channel is to build a community and a side income. And the question is, hey, Nick, my question is, how do I bring people to watch my live streams on YouTube? And are there any tips when it comes to live streaming? Boy, do I have tips when it comes to live streaming. In fact, on the StreamYard YouTube channel, if you just go to YouTube and you look for StreamYard, the channel's going to pull up, or just go to youtube.com/StreamYard or StreamYard app. I think it might be either StreamYard or StreamYard app on YouTube. I've got an entire playlist over there about live streaming directly to YouTube, but I'm going to give you some tips anyway. So basically, when it comes to live streaming on YouTube, if you don't have a following yet to where you can just go live and then, people are going to get the notifications, then in that case, make sure that you do schedule your live streams in advance. That will give more people time to know that you're going to be live streaming so that as they're running across that notification, then they can, schedule it if they want to come in. But make sure that you are also, if you have the functionality, because I know some channels have it, others don't right now. But if you have the functionality, create a channel trailer, or not a channel trailer, a live stream trailer, letting them know, hey, welcome, or I'm glad that you decided to click on this. My live stream is going to be happening on this day. This is what we're going to be doing. I hope to see you there. Make sure that you, hit the option here to, remind you or notify you when I go live, and I'll see you in the stream. And then by doing that, what you're doing is you're taking it from just like a thumbnail that doesn't really give them any context outside of your title, and you're actually talking to them. So if you do have that option, then use it. But if you don't, in that case, you're gonna have to lean heavily on your title and thumbnail. So make sure that you are using something, as always, that would stand out to the people that you're trying to reach in terms of helping them identify that your stream is gonna be about something they care about. In your case, it would be based around the game. And then of course, for the title itself, make sure that it's something that would be interesting to them. So what I mean when I say make sure it be something that's interested to them, there's a big difference in Fortnite gameplay or Fortnite Let's Play stream, right? Huge difference between that title and I'm going to get #1 in Fortnite. This is going to be long, so you'd have to workshop this to make it shorter. #1 in Fortnite with no weapons, right? And then in that particular case, this one over here, the #1 in Fortnite with no weapons, that one's more of a challenge. So it's like, oh, there's no way they're going to be able to pull this off. I'm going to come in here and just watch them get decimated, right? Versus the other one where it's like, oh, okay, it's another Let's Play on YouTube, right? So when you're putting it together, try to think in that regard of like, okay, if I'm going to be asking people to hit that reminder, then what can I do with this title to make it worth them wanting to hit that reminder so that they'll know what to expect. Next, you also want to make sure that when you are live streaming that you are considering the replay, because if you are leaving these public on your YouTube channel, people will find them, people will come in and watch them on the replay as well. In some cases, depending on the channel, you might end up getting more views on the replay than you do while it's actually live. So in that particular case, then what you want to make sure that you're doing is you want to make sure that you are structuring your stream for the replay. So 2 different ways that you can do this. The very first is you just start going live, and as soon as you go live, you add a hook. Hey, what's going on? In this stream today, we are going to be trying to, beat the entire, we're trying to get #1 in this battle royale. And I'm not going to be using anything else except, the axe that I have or, something like that with my character. And, we're going to see how far we can get. We're going to see how many times we can get #1 within the amount of time that we have. And that's what we're doing in this stream. So let's go ahead and get into it. And then you get into it that way. And then somebody that's coming in on the replay, when they come in, they're going to see that. And they're going to be like, hey, this is what's going on, da, da, da. And they're going to be like, oh, this seems interesting, or they're going to leave. So then you also have the other side of it to where if you already have people based on, your channel size and stuff, if you already have people that are interacting with your live stream, when you are like, as soon as you go live, you've already got people in there hanging out. If you want to, give shout outs, be like, hey, what's going on, such and such, welcome to the stream, that kind of stuff. And you do all the stream stuff, welcoming viewers, or maybe you're just creating that buffer to give people enough time to, join the stream and stuff like that. Then in that particular case, what you can do is you can create like a cut point. So basically you front load all that stuff, meaning you do all that stuff at the beginning while you're waiting for people to come in, and you use that as a way to kind of fill time as people are coming in, notifications are going out and all of that. But then before you start the actual content, you say this: hey, if you're just joining us, pause for just a second and then say, today I'm going to be playing, today I'm playing Fortnite Battle Royale and I'm trying to beat the blah, blah, blah. And then you put what it is that you're trying to do there and you create that challenge. And then from there, for all your live viewers, they're going to see that. They're not even going to notice what you just did. But what you're going to do is on the replay, and keep in mind, you're going to lose your live chat for this, which is perfectly fine, but this will happen. So if live stream chat is important to you in terms of it being on the replay, then you can't do this. But if you're like, hey, it's fine, as long as people are enjoying the content, they can still leave comments, which is perfectly fine. Then in that case, what you want to do is you want to go into where you say, hey, if you're just joining us, today we're talking about blah, blah, blah. In that little pause that you have between if you're just joining us and today we're talking about XYZ, you want to cut that in the YouTube editor and cut off all that stuff on the front. And then by doing that, what you do is you create a better experience for the replay viewer. So the live people, they got to enjoy it live, as it was, and they got to get that experience. But then you modify the content a little bit for the replay experience. So you cut off that front part in the YouTube editor. And then when somebody comes in on the replay, what they're going to see is, today, we're trying to get, we're playing Fortnite Battle Royale, and I'm trying to do, XYZ. So hopefully, that was helpful for you. But that's kind of the idea when it comes to live streaming, is you want to make sure that you are being intentional about how you're putting everything together, that you are thinking about like, okay, what am I trying to do with this live stream? Is this more about the live experience, more about the replay experience, or am I going to do kind of like a hybrid? And basically, you're going to use that decision to decide how you're going to structure the stream that you're putting out. Ronnie's Rambles. Dropping, hey, Thai bot there. What's going on, Ronnie? Looks like you are also in Thailand. Nice to see you in here. Thank you for the super chat. Super appreciated. FSD Beta in Seattle says, how many of you will search Seattle FSD? Interesting. That's almost like an ad. So I'm actually going to, no offense, but I'm going to actually take that one out, just because that is kind of like a little bit of an ad, and we don't allow that here in the streams. So next up, we've got your journey life blogger. Thank you for the super chat there as well. Super appreciated. So let's see here. So next up on our list here, we did Orange Game. So now we are doing, let's see here, waiting for the page to load. Hey, Ron Trains and Things just made his first penny on shorts. So congratulations, Ron, for hitting that first penny mark. Love it. Absolutely love it. Hey, but you know what? 1 penny adds up to 100 pennies. 100 pennies will go up to 1,000 and so on. Normal Mode TV says they upload when they have time. They do video game reviews with their content. The goal of the channel is to make better content that people, including myself, enjoy. The question is, how does one know when to switch niches or formats and try something else or power through and keep going? I've been doing video game reviews for around 3 years, and I'm still not happy with my work. Get happy with your work. So like when you are, like if you're doing it just to like do it, that's one thing. If you're doing it to get a certain result, then that's a different thing. So if you're doing it just to do it, then in that case, you can kind of do whatever you want and nothing really matters except like, hey, I'm just on here having fun doing the thing. Hopefully I'll get some people interacting with my content. If you're doing it to get some type of result, then in that case, you have to look for places where you might be deficient in what it is that you're doing and try to patch those things. So for example, if you're like, okay, I haven't actually, like I've been writing titles, I've been making thumbnails and stuff, but I've never really explored like how to do that. So I've been doing it my way, which, you might not be happy with right now, according to this message. So if you've been doing it that way and you're not happy with it, then in that case, go and start watching some videos, go start, reading some blogs, go start, figuring out how to make better thumbnails and better titles and start working on that skill set and improving that skill set. Same exact thing goes with the content itself. If you've been doing video game reviews the same exact way for 3 years and you're still not getting that response, then in that case, start modifying how you're doing game reviews. Because the phrase, I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's something along the lines of, if you continue to do the same thing that you're, always doing, then you have to expect the same results that you've been getting, right? So the same exact thing applies to this in terms of like, if you're walking a path and that path isn't working out for you, you got to give some things time, right? Because sometimes it does take time, for things to land, but you've been going for 3 years. So if you've been doing the same thing for 3 years and it's not working out, I would definitely start modifying how you're putting your content together. I would start modifying, the things that you need to based on what you see in your YouTube analytics in order to get things to that point to where they're more competitive for the platform. So you can start getting those better, the better results that you're after. Let's see here. Oh, hey, by the way, hey, thanks for the reminder there, Chantel. I appreciate it. So, for those of you that are not yet following me on TikTok, make sure that you do. I put out different content over there than I do on YouTube. It's still like YouTube and video content related. But you know, like I'll show like a little bit of behind the scenes stuff and things like that. I've also got some like skits that I've already made that I just have to edit together that I'm going to be putting up there, those sorts of things. So, all content, you know, creator related stuff. So you'll enjoy it. But hit my Twitter account. Chantel dropped a link here, and make sure that you follow me over there. Or you can go, and of course, this won't be a direct link. Actually, I guess it will. You can just go to niman.bio, and then that will just take you to like everything. So you can just, you know, connect with me anywhere that that makes sense for you. So RV Lifestyle is our next question here. They do ads and traffic to their website is the goal of the channel. The question is, this is my client, not my channel. Now that shorts are monetized, should we republish shorts that he has from the past 3 million views? Because right now it only has an RPM of like 0.005 for that one in the past, whereas his current shorts are over $1. So if the one is still getting views, then as long as it's still getting views, then it will still it'll still count towards the total pie. So because of that, I wouldn't. But keep in mind, like even though it got 3 million views in the past, if you were to take it down and republish it, it doesn't mean that you would get 3 million views on it now. Just because you're competing, differently, things have, changed, now compared to what, was happening before in terms of tons of people flooding, YouTube Shorts and stuff like that. In addition to that, you have another thing also. Hey, you just dropped a link to your Gmail there. Hold on, let me take this out. Oh, yeah, Chantel, you might want to. Love it. So, yeah, you want to make sure that you are, just kind of like not counting on that doing, 3 million. Again, it might do 10 million. I don't know. But one thing also is that YouTube actually recommends that you don't take videos down and then re-upload them again. You'll see some content creators recommending you do that, but YouTube themselves, they recommend that you don't do that. And if they detect that you are doing that, especially if you're doing it a lot, they can get you for like, for like reuse and that kind of stuff. So I would just be careful with that sort of thing. And really, I would just try to like move forward versus like, hey, we had this stuff in the past. So we're going to try to like, go back into that and then do it again. You can try it and it might end up, working out for you. But, again, it's a little bit different now than things were in the past. And because YouTube frowns upon that, considering they had a short that got 3 million views, which means they probably know how to make shorts, which means they're probably, good at that kind of thing. I would just focus them on future content that they're making versus going back into the past and trying to do that. Maybe instead of downloading the one, since it's already high performing and it's already doing well, maybe instead of downloading that one and republishing it, maybe having them make a newer, fresh version based on the audience retention reports that you have on the one that got 3 million views, and then have them publish that as a new, fresh piece of content. Even though it's topically the same, it would be, done in a way that would be modified based on how people responded to the one that got 3 million views on it, which might help it end up doing, even better than the one that got 3 million. Also, keep in mind, one thing for everybody when it comes to shorts monetization, and Dee and I were talking about this over coffee today. Keep in mind also that even though like people aren't making a lot of money on YouTube Shorts right now, as outsiders in terms of, being outsiders on YouTube advertising and exactly how much money is being dumped into YouTube Shorts from advertisers, keep in mind that, there might be some advertisers that are actually a little bit timid right now on YouTube Shorts, right? Like we don't know what that situation is. So what we're seeing right now with YouTube Shorts with like people getting like super low amounts, that can also be because they might not have, I don't know, but I'm just saying one of the things to think about is that they might not just have tons of ad inventory for the short form content right now. So, that might be something to where as they start ramping up, more ad inventory in terms of people spending more money on short specific ads, that, content creators might start getting more monetized, views on their YouTube Shorts because there's more advertising actually being deployed into YouTube Shorts. So keep that in mind as well. Doug right here, he says that he's not seeing, lots of ads playing in the YouTube Shorts feed. Dee and I were having this conversation today as well. Make sure if you are looking at that, like, Doug knows this already, but like for everybody else, if you're like, man, I'm not seeing any like, ads in my YouTube Shorts, make sure that, that you are looking on an account that you are not a premium user also. Because, if you're looking at it as a premium user, then you're not going to see them anyway. So, keep that in mind too. So Triathlon with Coach John. Triathlon with Coach John says they do triathlon education. The goal of the channel is added passive income. And the question is, with shorts money, do you earn thus after 10 million shorts views, or is the money coming from regular monetization, 1,000 and 4,000 or 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours? So if you have the 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, then you will qualify by default for the YouTube Shorts monetization as well. Yeah, Doug's like, yeah, no YouTube Premium. Yeah, I definitely figured that in your case in terms of you making sure you're in the right accounts there. Yeah, I knew that wasn't a problem for you, Doug. Next up, we got Stormy Sky Rail Productions. They do daily content. The type of channel is trains and weather. And the goal of the channel is to have fun and eventually make some money. And the goal of the question is, have you noticed recently videos are taking a really long time to upload? A 10-minute video took over 2 hours to upload. The video was 1080, not 4K. Thanks for all you do. So I haven't noticed that personally. My internet here is blazing. Every now and then there'll be lulls, but like I'm like 1,000 up and 1,000 down. Like my lull is like 500 up if it's on like a down. So the internet that I have here is blazing. So I personally haven't noticed that. So keep in mind when it comes to uploading, the uploading is more on your side. The processing is on YouTube's side. So if you're uploading a video and it's taking a long time, I would actually contact your internet service provider over that, because the upload isn't on YouTube. Once it's on YouTube and YouTube starts processing it, that's on their side. So if you're having the problem in the processing, then in that case, that's, you're just going to have to deal with that until they, speed it up, in that scenario. You could have just been uploading at a busy time or, something like that. But when it comes to, the upload process itself, in terms of you getting the videos from your computer or phone into YouTube, that's on you. That's on you and your internet service provider or your phone, carrier, if you're doing it on your phone, those sorts of things. That's not a YouTube issue. Let's see here. So, Dummy Dude Dave, love your channel name, says, switch content. Do I delete videos that don't match? If it was my channel and I was heading in a completely different direction, and the audience wasn't relevant, then in that particular case, yeah. But I see that you actually, you've been uploading actually for a while, but not really serious on some of this old content. And what it is that you're doing now, it looks like you were doing Minecraft in the past or just random stuff. And then now you're doing, let's see here, Fortnite content. So because of that, and now you have some Pokemon stuff too. So I'm not sure which direction you're heading there, because 3 months was the last gaming video. So if you are moving into like Fortnite and that's what you're going to be dealing with, then in that case, if you're going to have like a Fortnite channel, then if it was my channel, of course, do with this information what you will. But if it was my channel, I would take off anything that wasn't Fortnite related. If you are heading in the direction of Pokemon, then in that case, I would double down on Pokemon, and then I would take out anything that wasn't Pokemon related once you start getting activity, which you already are in your shorts, on the Pokemon. But one thing that I'm seeing here, even when I'm looking at your YouTube shorts, is you're actually putting out content about a bunch of like really different things. So because of that, the bigger issue here wouldn't necessarily be about removing content that's old on the channel. It would be more about getting clear on the type of channel that you want to have. I think that will bring the bigger value to you more than deleting content. What I mean by that is right now you're putting up a bunch of varied stuff. Most of it is gaming content, and you have some content here is like when you're busy and you got to make it fast type of thing, which might be gaming as well. It's just not clear from the outside. But because you have all this varied content on here, it makes it really hard. Like if I was a viewer and I ran across, let's say, one of these like AI generated Pokemon shorts, then in that particular case, I'd be like, hey, if I enjoyed that, that means that I'm interested in that content. So then if I were to click on your channel name, because I'm like, oh, this is great, love Pokemon, I want to check out more of this, and I go to your YouTube channel, well, what's going to happen is like the next scroll, I have asking AI a trigger warning, and then that one's not relevant, let me just see one more, and then I see like a aimbot type shots from Fortnite. Right? It's like, oh, wait a minute, I came in here for Pokemon, now I'm seeing like this. I can't binge watch this because I'm not into both of those things. So therefore, I'm just gonna go find something else to watch. So in my opinion, I think the biggest value for you would be in getting like really clear on what it is that the type of channel that you want to be known for. Like, what is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to offer? And just doubling down on that and committing to that. And then also within that, because knowing what you're going to offer is one thing, but also knowing who it is that you're wanting to watch your content is another thing. So getting clear on what it is that you want from your channel, what it is that you're going to offer from your channel, and who it is that you're making content for is the things that I would work on right now. And then from there, that's going to lead you in the right direction and help you make the right choices, because then when you define those things, you're going to be clear on what it is that you're actually trying to do. And then it's going to make questions like that really easy to answer, like for yourself, because then does this fit into what it is that I'm trying to do? Yes, keep it. No, let's get it off the channel, right? Let's see here. So next up on the list, Michael Suavsky. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I apologize if not. Says, hey Nick, thanks for the great content. My pleasure. Glad that you are enjoying the stream and the information. Let's see here. So next up on our list here, we've got Phillips Crusade. Phillips Crusade does Dungeons and Dragons content. The goal of the channel is to monetize it. And the question is, how do you make thumbnails more appealing? My best video has a 5% click-through rate, but I haven't been able to recreate that. So a few different things I just want you to think about here. Hey, my pleasure, dummy dude Dave. So when it comes to making your thumbnails more appealing, first I would make sure that you are thinking about like making them identifiable. So making them identifiable means if somebody that you're trying to reach with the type of content that you are making, if they were on their phone, just like I am right now, if they're on their phone, and I'm going to go to my home feed here, and they're sitting there and they're scrolling through, right, on their phone, then what is it about your thumbnails? They're sitting there and they're looking for something to watch because they're on the YouTube, scrolling a home feed, looking for something to watch. What is it about what it is that you're doing or what it is that you did with your thumbnail would cause the people that you're trying to reach to stop, because they'd be like, oh, wait a minute, this is about that thing that I like, or this is about that thing that I'm interested in, right? And then when you can identify that, then that by itself can be really powerful in helping you just make better thumbnails. And then from there, it's going to come down to your title. So when it comes to your 5% click-through rate, one, make sure you are considering the impressions. Two, you also want to make sure that you're thinking about how many impressions that you've gotten for that 5% click-through rate. Because for example, if you've gotten 1,000 impressions, then 5% click-through rate isn't good. But if you've gotten, 100,000 impressions, then it's okay. So when it comes to, 5% click-through rate, you need to make sure that you are also looking at the impressions that you're getting. You also need to make sure you're going into your traffic sources report and your advanced analytics. In there, you can actually see your click-through rate per traffic source. So you can say, this is my click-through rate on search, this is my click-through rate on home pages, this is my click-through rate on suggested videos, and from my subscriber feed. And that's going to start helping you paint a better picture of where your videos are falling short on performance, so you know exactly what you need to fix. Here's an example of that. If you notice, for example, my news segments that I do. So one thing that I noticed, and I'll change them up from time to time, but most of the time I'll just leave them the same because they're limited in time, but in terms of the information shared. So one thing that I noticed with my news thumbnails with the template that I use is that when I make a thumbnail using my template, they perform lower in suggested videos. And I know that because I look in my I look at my traffic sources report and I look to see what my click-through rate is in suggested videos. Typically it underperforms anyway, suggested videos, it's typically harder to get clicks there anyway. But by looking at that, I'm I'm really low here. So then I have to start thinking, okay, why do I think it would be low? And what I've come up with is, when you look at my thumbnail for my news segment at a really small size, the thing that stands out is my ugly mug here, and you don't really get to see the more YouTube related stuff that's in there that will stand out really nicely if you're scrolling on a mobile phone. So because of that, if I wanted to get more suggested traffic for those immediately, and I've done this in the past with other news segments that I've done, then I'll just update the thumbnail after I do the live stream, and then I'll make it to where all the information that is YouTube related or that would grab a YouTuber's attention will be much bigger, so that it's easier to identify at a smaller size that it has something to do with YouTube, right? There's other little things that you can do too. Like as an example, and I just saw one here, so I'm going to highlight him for a second. So the YouTube channel Retired Working For You, we did a collaboration quite some time ago. He grew his YouTube channel to over 100,000 subscribers just using an iPhone, no extra microphone, nothing, just, you know, running around Thailand doing vlogs. So one thing that he does with some of his titles is, you know, because he's very well known in terms of being like a Thai vlogger. So when his content gets recommended, if you're into Thai stuff, you know, you can identify, just him is like, okay, you know, because of his following. But one thing that he also does to kind of level things up, because he's focusing on himself and the food in the thumbnail, is you can see here, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but one thing in his case, because he's targeting people that are interested in Thailand, is here he has street food haven in northern Thailand, right? But as part of that, you also get to see that he's got Thailand in all caps, right? Street food grabs their attention for people into street food. Thailand in all caps to grab the attention of people that are in Thailand. And then he has the little Thai flag next to Thailand. So that combination helps you identify to where it's like, hey, here's this dude in the thumbnail eating noodles. What is this about? Look at the title. And then in the title, it's like, oh, this is street food heaven, in northern Thailand. And then, you know, he emphasizes the words based on the things that the people that might be interested in that video would, or based on the things that would stand out to them, right? So doing those types of things will definitely help you make your thumbnails and titles more appealing. Jerry, this is, it's a channel called, and I don't want to like mess up his data and stuff. So just send me a message on Facebook and I'll send it to you later. Well, I already said it. It's Retired Working For You, is the name of the channel. Awesome content. Like his personality, just in general, like even when you meet him in person, like he's just a super like upbeat, positive, you know, just a really good guy. So like all of that translates in his content. Like you'll love his videos. You'll absolutely love his videos, Jerry. So Freightmaster Resources is our next channel on the list here. They do logistics content. It's interesting. The goal of the channel.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
The goal of the channel is to help educate new people getting into the industry and getting monetized. The question is, I have a logistics channel primarily for new people getting into the industry. I have 1,600 subscribers, but can't seem to get over the 1,400 hours. I do primarily live. Any suggestion? Make sure that you are optimizing your live streams for the replay. Make sure that you're not using templated thumbnails. Make sure that every single stream that you do is topically different. So basically, instead of doing like the same titles, you know, same thumbnails, things like that, which a lot of live streamers do, make sure that you're making a unique package for each one and make sure you're structuring it for the replay. So I went through a whole thing about how to get better results from your live streams earlier. So definitely, you know, once the timestamps are available, come back on the replay and watch that particular section. But in a nutshell, what you want to make sure that you're doing is you want to make sure that you're considering the live experience for the people that are participating live. And then from there, you want to make sure that you're thinking about the replay viewers. So when it comes to the replay viewers, for them, they're going to have like a whole different experience. So like if you have like a bunch of like this big long intro and stuff like for your live stream on the replay, that's not that great, right? But for the live experience, it's like, oh, here he comes, right? If you have people waiting, then it's like, you know, here they come and, you know, they're getting ready to do the thing. Like this is exciting, whatever. But like when you're watching that on the replay, it's like, hey, I just clicked on this video. Like what's going on with this like intro thing? I'm out of here, right? So, so because of that, just make sure you're structuring things in a way that make it really good for the replay itself. Let's see here. Hey, you might be talking about Mark, Jerry. I'm not sure. We have a pretty big YouTuber here. I think he's got several million subscribers on his channel. His name is Mark. Can't remember off the top of my head his last name. It's Mark something. But it's all food. It's all food related stuff. So the next question here is from Learn Spanish World. They upload 1 time per week or more. They do educational content. The goal of the channel is to provide educational value and eventually work full-time as a content creator. The question is, Audio Library provides claims to offer free copyright music to small channels. However, once a claim passes 90K, they start issuing copyright claims and reject disputes, or once a channel passes 90K. Can they actually do this when they state their music is copyright free? So this is part of the problem that I mentioned. So I have a video on my channel warning people about the creator music that YouTube offers. I really recommend that you watch that. And the reason for that, there's also a bunch of resources for you in the description of that will take you to, you know, the information about that. But watch that. It's long. I think it's like 30 minutes. But basically, we went through the documentation for that, and there's a lot of really red flags when it comes to some of that. So in some cases, it'll be fine, right? In some cases, it's nothing to even think think about or worry about. The music's fine. But in other cases, depending on exactly how it is that you're going to be using it, there's a lot of, nuance to it that, can kind of impact you, or just with the licensing, with the, the way the money's divided up, things like that. Like it's not as good as it kind of seems from the outside once you start digging into the details of it. So I really recommend that you, look into that particular stream and check the resources for that too, down in the description of that particular stream. So next up, we've got Restoring Eden Ministries. Restoring Eden Ministries does bi-weekly content. They do Christian content. The goal of the channel is tackling difficult Christian topics. And the question is, why did my video suddenly stop being viewed? It was doing well 2 days, got 1,000 views, but then suddenly stopped getting viewed. What happened? So it's likely that what happened is you started going out to broader audiences. So here's how YouTube works. And I typically, Mark Wines, yep, that's his name. Thanks, Ronnie. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, Mark Wines is his name. So Jerry, that's who I was talking about, Jerry, Mark Wines. So when it comes to how YouTube works as a whole, right? So in some cases, and this would apply to the other channel that was talking about, how their channel was doing great and then it kind of fell off in terms of like certain videos or whatever. But basically how it works is like when you first publish your video, and I explain this on every stream. So like if if you've seen this before, just hang tight. I'll get through it quickly. But when you are, and Shark Scrapper says Creator Mix is also a great source for music. Really quick, thank you for that opportunity because I just completely went past it. Also, for anybody interested in music, just as a heads up, my brother D and I, we created a free music resource for YouTube content creators. So if you need music for your videos, podcasts, courses, anything that you're doing, you can get it over at creatormix.com. Also, if you just want to listen to some really good music, you can find us and stream us or just sample the music so you can see if you like what it is that we have or not on Spotify, Apple Music, all the major streaming platforms as well. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. So when it comes to how YouTube works, when you first publish your YouTube videos, the people that are, I need an animation for this. I actually have it in the course I'm putting together. But basically, when you first publish a video, the people that see it are the people that YouTube thinks, the system, it doesn't think, but that YouTube detects are the people that would be most likely to enjoy that content that are on the platform at that moment in time. Based on how those people respond to it, it's going to go out to a wider group of people. Based on how those people respond to it, it'll go out to a wider group of people and so on. But what happens is, as it starts getting out to these bigger groups of people, once it hits that threshold of like, okay, now the people that it's getting recommended to, they're not responding to it as much because they're not that core group that is super likely to enjoy it, which is the people that are, more interacting with your content on a regular basis. They're watching tons of videos like you're making, that kind of stuff. That's that core group. But then as it goes out, those people are just a little bit less likely than that core group. Then as it goes out to more people, those people are just a little bit less likely than the previous two groups and so on. And as it starts growing in terms of the amount of, people that are seeing your content, in terms of YouTube showing it to them somewhere on the platform, they just get less and less likely to be that perfect fit for your content. Some people are still going to respond to it, but once you get to that threshold to where it's like, okay, out of these, this larger group of people, all of the other content or a lot of the other content here is actually outperforming these other videos that are being recommended here, then it's going to just focus on the videos that are, performing better, and it's going to show those videos to people. So what can happen in your case specifically, because based on the subject matter that you're talking about is, when you first publish your video, it's going out to those people that are like super into what you're talking about. But then at a certain point, YouTube's going to start recommending your content to people that don't really care about what it is that you're talking about. Like there might be some crossover that's why they're getting a recommendation, but maybe they're watching content about like atheism or something like that. Or maybe they're watching content about something unrelated to Christianity at all. And because of that, there's just some other connection between the types of content that they're watching. So YouTube is showing them your content because you're in that wider group now, and those people just aren't responding to it. Then what happens is YouTube kind of found that threshold of like, okay, we've reached that limit for this piece of content, and then it will, not prioritize your content anymore. So when you have, videos that fall off like that, that's, that's how it goes down. So the expectation of, I published this video, so I'm going to assume that this video is going to keep getting X amount of views that I got in that first 24 hours. That's just setting yourself up for, disappointment. So it's really important just to understand that, like, okay, when I publish this video, that initial video performance definitely gives velocity, is definitely teaching YouTube who is a good fit for my content, but that initial video performance does not dictate long-term performance, right? With that said, it also works the other way. So you can also publish videos on YouTube, and right out of the gate, maybe you uploaded at the wrong time. Maybe there's just content that was way outperforming your content, initially, and your video just doesn't do that well out of the gate. Well, it's also possible that your video, once YouTube does find that right audience for it, because they're still giving you impressions on that content over time. So once it does find that ideal audience for it, sometimes on YouTube, a video will be published. It won't do that great out of the gate, but then 3 months down the road, it'll just start lifting off out of nowhere. So you also have scenarios like that as well when YouTube does find that perfect audience for your content. Next up on our list, we've got, let's see here, all mouth, no lips. Love it. So they do community commentary and opinionated is the type of channel. The goal of the channel is to keep people updated on all the crazy stuff going on in the world. Man, I bet you're busy. You probably have like multiple uploads going out a day. Like, hey, here's the next 300 crazy things that are happening today. But let's see here. The question is, love your work. My question is, I don't know what niche I'm in or what hashtags to use in my videos. Okay, start with figuring out what niche you're in. So when it comes to the niche you're in, you've pretty much defined it that you're keeping people updated on all the crazy stuff that's happening in the world. So because of that, you're doing, you said that you're doing commentary content and you're keeping people updated with all the crazy stuff. Now, when it comes to the crazy stuff, this is where your line in the sand is going to get drawn. Because certain types of people will respond to this types of crazy stuff that won't respond to this types of crazy stuff. Other people will respond to this crazy stuff, but they won't respond to this crazy stuff. So for example, maybe you talk about like conspiracy theories and things like that. Well, these people over here that talk about crazy stuff that are into politics don't necessarily respond to that, and vice versa. Maybe you are talking about over here, crazy weather events that happen. Well, the people that are over here into politics, they don't really care about the crazy events that are happening, the crazy weather events or global events that are happening. So therefore, they might not necessarily watch those videos. So what you have to get clear on is, okay, for the content that I'm publishing and all the crazy stuff that I'm covering, what type of stuff am I covering for what type of viewer that would be interested in the type of things that I'm wanting to cover? And then you double down on the very specific crazy things that are happening in the world that would resonate with those types of viewers. So for example, there's a lot of YouTube channels. I actually have a friend of mine that works with a YouTube channel that talks about pretty much if there's anything that is, this channel is like anti all of that, right? So if it's like, hey, this is this, then this channel's like, oh, well, it's not this. And we have this source that says it's this instead. And people like just believe him for no reason. But like the idea is that in that particular channel, the only things they talk about are the things that are kind of hot in the moment that people are like, hey, this is, they're probably looking at like conspiracy subreddits and things like that. And because of that, they're like, hey, this is kind of getting everybody fired up now. So let's talk about that for a little bit. And they're really digging deep into that particular audience, but they only talk about those things that will trigger those people and get them to click on their content. And then of course, watch it, get all fired up and want to keep checking in because they think the same way they do. So, when you are understanding who it is that you're reaching with your content, it helps you better be able to kind of dial in the specific topics that you're talking, because when you're talking about all the crazy stuff that's happening in the world, there's so much crazy stuff happening that, you just have to kind of segment out your slice of like, okay, well, I'm going to talk about the crazy weather, or I'm going to talk about, the crazy things that are going on in, in politics, or I'm going to talk about UFOs, like right here with Kiss My Dot, right? Like I'm just going to talk about like these types of things. And when you do that, then that's going to make your content more bingeable. And it's also going to, over time, teach YouTube who is a good fit for your audience or for your content based on the other content that they're watching. Let's see here. So Aperture Movement says, I was just thinking a few minutes ago that at least 60% of content creators are coffee addicts, right? I include myself in that percentage. Hey, for all you coffee addicts out there, put your cups up here, right? Cheers. Put your cups up here, right? If you're drinking coffee right now, cheers. Now drink it. All right. Love it. Cheers for all you coffee drinkers. And you guys, I know a lot of you are over on like the other side of the planet. So you're over in the States. So for me, I'm drinking coffee at like 11 p.m. So from time to time in my streams, like I'm trying to wean myself off of like nighttime coffee. So for my streams, I'm doing it sometimes, but typically this late at night, I'm not drinking coffee. But I know a lot of you guys are over there getting started. So, you know, coffee is a little bit more appropriate, a little more appropriate over there. But tea, if you're drinking tea, if you're just drinking water, you know, if you're a hydro homie and you're just drinking water, then, you know, crush that water too. So cheers either way. So next up, we've got Sun and Moon and Jelly God Lefty the Puppet Master. So first off, I would shorten your channel name because it's going to be really hard. If I was like, hey, this is great content, it's going to be really hard for me to recommend your content to other people because of the length of your channel name. Next, it's a gaming channel. The goal of the channel is they just do it for fun. And the question is, what is the best way to get subscribers? Add value through your content. That value can be anything. It can be entertaining people. It can be motivating people. It can be teaching people stuff. It can be altering the way or that people think or challenging the way that people think so that people are like, oh, hey, I've never really thought of it that way, right? So you're just kind of opening people up to new ideas, that kind of stuff, but just create some type of value with the content that you're putting out. And if people receive that value, then people will subscribe to your YouTube channel. Bankroll is our next question. They have a live gaming channel. The goal of the channel is to make it a career. And the question is how to get more traffic and subs. I only have four tips and tricks. So when it comes to getting views, if you're doing live gaming content, then of course it's going to come down to your ability to entertain people and or show people stuff in the game and your ability to get them to click on what it is, you know, on your thumbnails and titles. So it's really, hey Mike, what's going on, man? Hybrid Steel, nice to see you in here. It's really common for gaming channels to use like templated thumbnails and just use the same titles, all that stuff. Make everything different. Make everything different. Make sure you're also optimizing for the replay itself, or you're structuring your stream from the replay for the replay. We've talked about that a couple times now in the stream today. So you want to make sure that you are structuring everything for the replay so that people that are enjoying it for the live experience, that they can also, you know, that if somebody new comes in that's never seen your content before, the very first thing they see and hear when they come into your content is, hey, today this is what we're doing, right? And make every single live stream that you do trying to accomplish some type of goal that people can want to sit there and watch to see if you're going to be able to accomplish that goal or not. Next, Geology Dude does educational and geology content. The goal of the channel is to get monetized, influence science and education methods. Love that. Question is, how can I best accommodate foreign audiences when narrating videos in English? My shorts videos contain no narration text, but translated captions in narrative videos are not getting traction. So yeah, so translating the metadata and translating the captions themselves. So just as a heads up, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but inside of your captions, if you go and you caption your videos, then what you can do is within that captioning, you have an option to auto translate, and you can just click that button and then you can say what language you want to auto translate to. And YouTube's going to auto translate your captions into all of the languages that you choose to translate them into. So inside of your YouTube channel, you have geographic information, and you can see where in the world people are watching your videos the most from. So what you can do is you can go in, you can say, hey, these are the top 10 countries watching my videos. So let me go in and make sure that I have translations for them. So you can do that if you choose to, in order to be able to better reach those people. But in terms of, narrating your videos in English, I know that YouTube also has something that they're experimenting with a third-party company, where you can, it's a really slow process, but you can submit your videos through a form. You can find this on the Creator Insider channel in terms of a link to this form, but you can send your video into this Google form, and then they will translate it into another language verbally, and then they'll send it back to you, and then you can upload it as an audio translation as well for your videos. Next, we've got what I'm not going to say that one just to be on the safe side that I'm, don't accidentally mess that up. But it's a clothing brand. The goal of the channel is to grow our brand. And the question is, can you review my channel? Let me know what you would improve if it was yours. No, we don't look at channels during these streams. We look at those during the monetization streams, but it's a different type of thing. So we look at the channels and we look at how, we brainstorm on different ways they can monetize their content, not just, doing like a best practice review. So Renee Ritchie says, super excited for multi-track audio to roll out more broadly. Hopefully the barrier to dubbing keeps going down. And Allowed is the name of the service there. Yeah. So yeah, that's, so they're calling it multi-track audio. Yeah. So then basically what I'm looking forward to, so let's talk about this for a second. So what I'm looking forward to, and I've been talking about this for a while. I actually mentioned this I did a interview on Armenian TV. So I had the opportunity because of my YouTube channel to go to Armenia for 2 years actually, and train up a bunch of young Armenians on how to do YouTube. And one of the things that I was talking about, because I got an interview on Armenian media. So I got, on one of their media outlets. And in that particular interview, one of the things that I was talking about, because they were like, hey, how far along do you think it's like too late to do all this stuff and whatever? I'm like, man, we're just getting started. And I still believe this. I was like, we're just getting started with all this stuff. I was like, I was explaining at that time, and this was like a few years ago, I was explaining that even then, they already had the technology, and they have it now as well in apps, to where you can just talk into the app, depending on the language. Like I can talk into an app in English and it'll just spit out translation in Spanish verbally, instantly, or audibly, instantly, like right there in the moment. So what I was talking about back then is I was talking about like how awesome it's going to be. And I hope that one of these platforms does this, and I hope they do it soon, because the audio translations that they're doing is walking down this road. But the thing that I'm looking forward to is real-time audio translations that are done through AI. So basically, I believe that one of these platforms, if not all of them, sometime in the future, probably now with all this sudden big bang of AI, it's probably going to happen faster than anticipated. But what I'm looking forward to is, imagine if you could log onto YouTube and you could say, okay, this is my audio, this is the type of audio that I want, but then YouTube will start recommending you content from everywhere in the world. But then everything is auto-translated, so it doesn't matter what the content creator or the language that the content creator is speaking, having it actually translate the audio in real time, so you're actually hearing it back that way, which is the same exact thing as the multi-audio thing that they're doing. But it basically would just be sticking that to every video for every language in every country that they have YouTube available. I'm so looking forward to that, because it's inevitable, right? Like, it doesn't make any sense to not make content accessible everywhere. Now, I know there's cultural differences and things like that, and there's going to be some places that are locked out. Like, for example, there's probably some places in the Middle East, based on their preferences and all that, where they're not going to be able to do that, just because the backlash that would happen and all that. But outside of those restrictions, though, like, I think we're getting close to that. And I'm super looking forward to one of these platforms, and I hope that YouTube does it first, but I'm looking forward to one of them being able to give us like real-time translations to where we can watch anything from anywhere in the world. Because right now, YouTube is localized in a bunch of different countries. I think they're over like 90 countries. They might have even crossed 100, in the past like year or two. But they're localized. So for example, like since I'm in Thailand, I can go to Thailand, or I can go to like a YouTube or a Thailand version of YouTube, and I can just see only Thai content, right? Because it's all in Thai language. So I can go there. If I'm like, hey, I'm in a creative block, let me go see what they're doing in another country. Then I can go and, I can just put in the URL to go look at content in Japan or in content in Thailand or whatever. And I can see all the different things that they're doing there for inspiration. So one of the things that would be awesome with this instant translation is that you'd be able to go and consume like Thai content, right? Because there's a lot of really super talented creators here. You'd be able to go consume Japanese content. There's a lot of super talented creators there. You'd be able to, all over the world, there's talented content creators. There's creatives everywhere. So you'd be able to consume that content like in real time, audio based on your language preferences. Like, I'm so looking forward to that. And it's inevitable. Like, it's going to happen. It's just who's going to do it first, right? Which platform is going to roll it out first? Renee Ritchie says, Universal Translator or Babelfish? Yep. Don't wait for the translation. Watch the video. Yeah, like that would be just so awesome. And I'm surprised that is not something, just on the accessibility side of things, that's not something that YouTube is doing to like just push the envelope. Like, hey, not only are we going to, make it, where we're doing all these different features and stuff, but we're also just going to open it up to where everybody on the world, where based on governments and, things like that, to where you can do it, to where it's like, hey, we're making this accessible to where everybody can listen to everything that we have. So looking forward to that. But anyway, I'm not sure where I was before that, so I'll hop back on track here. So if you're just joining us, we're talking about YouTube stuff. I was just going down a rant here about looking forward to, just instant translation so we can consume content anywhere. But what we're talking about is all things related to YouTube, just a bunch of different, YouTube related topics, helping content creators solve, their YouTube problems. So he says, Renee Ritchie says, currently for multi-track audio, you can go to the same part of Studio where you'd upload alternate captions. There's an extra column for alternate dubbings. Yeah, that's where you would upload those in translations. And some people do that already. Like some people hop on like Fiverr or something like that and they'll get them done over there. But I'm really looking forward to that just being automatic, to where it's just like, you don't even have to do it. And I believe, like right now, another thing that's crazy is that like in order to have your subtitles translated into another language, you have to manually go in and do it. Like YouTube should just do it. And then that would also make everybody's content more accessible to everybody as well through the metadata for the, for being able to, get content out there everywhere. So yeah, all kinds of fun technology that can be brought into place there. But yeah, if you're just joining us, we're talking about YouTube, related stuff. I'm answering questions. The questions I'm answering, I'm just getting them in the order that they come in through the form that is down in the description of the stream right now. So this one is from Michael Suavsky. Sorry, man, I keep kind of stuttering on that name. I apologize. The type of channel is a simple private channel. The goal of the channel is my personal channel. It basically showcases my work. And the question is, I'm interested in sponsoring a couple of YouTube channels. How is that done? And what would my responsibility be as a sponsor? Great question. So first, hit me up on Twitter because I can give you a lot more information than what I'm getting ready to tell you. But when it comes to sponsoring content creators, the very first thing that you should look at is the engagement that they get on their videos. So there's different approaches that you can take. Some companies will go with like established content creators that have like big audiences and stuff. Others will go for what's called a micro influencer, and those are channels that are around 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 subscribers. And the reasoning for both is if you have something like a game, and you want that game to just get in front of as many people as possible, then in that case, going with like a bigger channel, the likelihood of that getting in front of a lot more people quickly is going to be higher. If you are like, hey, we have this like thing we're trying to bring attention to, we don't really have like this super high budget, but we, like conversions are like super important to us. Like we need as many people that are seeing this video as possible to convert. That's where micro influencers come in, because with micro influencers, typically, and this is why you want to look at their engagement in terms of the comments they're getting, and not just comments like, hey, great video, but like comments, that are actually like, written a little bit more thought out, stuff like that. But basically when it comes to micro influencers, which a lot of people actually that are hanging out in here are, so, you got some, people you could probably work with right here. But when it comes to micro influencers, the win there is that when you have a smaller YouTube channel and a smaller community, the connection that you have there is fantastic. Like, for example, when I started my channel, a lot of the people that were in the community at that time, like Flash in Your Pan, for example, because he's right here on the screen. Doug Huson, he's in here as well. But like a lot of those people, Paul Peck, he was in here earlier as well, just to name a few. Hybrid Steel, Mike, Little Crafty Nook, she came along not too long ago. Roger Wakefield, what's up, dude? He's in here also, says he's in his mobile driving. Hello, everybody. Hit the thumbs up. You're learning to make money for free. Absolutely, right? At least hit the thumbs up button. But some of the people that I just mentioned, they've been in here since before I had really, landed, so to speak, on YouTube. So they came in and I got to know them while the audience wasn't huge. And the reason that was possible is because there just weren't as many people interacting at the time. But at that particular time, like if I recommended something, it's like, I know them, we interact like all over the internet. So like if I would recommend something, then they would be like super more likely to go and actually, purchase that, or at least, look into it. Whereas when everything gets bigger, it's a lot more difficult to have those, closer connections with the community. So there, everything starts happening at scale. So that's where you have to start thinking as a brand that's wanting to work with content creators. That's where you have to start thinking like, what is it that we need for this particular agreement, right? So in terms of, you're targeting the way that you're doing your conversions, things like that, your budget, all of that. Another thing with bigger channels is regardless of their view counts, they're going to charge you more money. And the reason for that is because with them becoming a bigger YouTube channel, like me in my case, I charge a lot. The reason that I charge a lot is because I built this brand and people trust this brand. So because of that, the bigger channels, like they're going to charge more. But a lot of times those bigger channels will also have additional assets that they can also bring attention to your stuff. Some of them will have podcasts, some of them will have email lists, some of them will have like websites or just other things that they do that they can also leverage. So there is, wins when it comes to, the bigger creators too. So in your case, you just got to figure out, who it is that you're, after, your budget and all those types of things. But in addition to that, you want to make sure that you are looking at Walter's World. What's up, man? Yeah, he's another one right here as well. And he's also in the same boat in terms of, like those bigger channels. It just becomes more and more difficult, as everything gets bigger. Like, for example, I've had like 40 something million people interact with my content. And it's like, you just can't, it's just not manageable, right? So when it comes to make sure you're looking at engagement, make sure that you're also looking for alignment as well. So like, for example, when it comes to alignment, you need to make sure that the people that are watching the videos of the people that you're going to be sponsoring, you have to make sure that those people are a perfect laser fit for what it is that you're doing. So all of my sponsors, TubeBuddy, StreamYard, TubeSpanner, Camtasia, Envato, Spreadshop, like all of these different companies, like they are all, targeting YouTube content creators, which makes my stuff, a perfect fit for them. So like in your case, make sure that you find the content creators that are a perfect fit and don't settle. Don't be like, oh, this one's kind of close. Like find a perfect fit and find multiple perfect fits. And the reason for that is because if every video or most of the videos on their YouTube channel, the people interacting with that content would be a candidate for purchasing your products or, whatever else, whatever it is that you're trying to bring attention to, then in that particular case, they're a perfect fit. So for you content creators that are hanging out here, one of the extra bonuses in terms of you niching down your content is what I'm talking about right here with Michael about, having, about him wanting to sponsor content creators. It works in both ways. So when you niche down as a content creator, it makes your channel more valuable in situations like this. So for example, if you're doing a bunch of variety content, then in that particular case, like if somebody advertises with you, it has to be a broad audience product. But if you are somebody that is doing, like a niche thing, then in that particular case, you're a great fit for the brands that are targeting that same audience that you're targeting with your YouTube videos. So in addition to being able to add value to more of the viewers that are into those things that you do, you're also giving yourself the opportunity to make yourself more valuable to brands, right? So another thing, Michael, when it comes to you sponsoring content creators is another thing that you want to make sure that you are considering, and this is your call, because everybody looks at this kind of thing differently. But one thing that I always recommend to the content creators that are hanging out in these streams is that they keep their content family and brand friendly. And the reason for that is because, like, for example, when people are watching YouTube videos or they're hanging out in live streams or whatever, sometimes there's kids present. Sometimes they're in environments to where, like work, something like that, to where some of the things that they're saying or showing might not be appropriate. And when you are advertising against those, this is why YouTube has, so much difficulty with advertising. But when you are advertising against those, some of those things can also start getting associated with your brand. So because of that, I would just make sure that you are being mindful of that side of things as well. Because how that content creator acts and the things they say and what it is that they do, that's also going to be a reflection of you in some capacity if you end up having a really deep relationship with those content creators. So those are just some things to kind of get you started. But hit me up on Twitter, just DM me on Twitter. We can chat back and forth for a little bit and I'll just give you some additional tips. I'll give you some actual resources you can check out as well in terms of places to go to kind of look into, content creators and those sorts of things. So just hit me up on Twitter. I probably won't respond to that when you send me the message because that will be more conversation. It won't be a quick check-in. So I probably won't respond to that until like Monday or Tuesday, but just send me the message so it gets in there, and then I'll just shoot you that message as soon as I have a few extra minutes to hop in there. MKME Lab, welcome to the stream. So let's see here. So that was a little class for you content creators as well, in terms of like, in Michael's case, he's looking for content creators to sponsor, right? To bring attention to what it is that he's doing. So everything that I just mentioned to him in terms of things for him to look out for, make sure that you're working on those things as a content creator as well, because those are the things that, that brands do look into. So make sure that you are, keeping an eye out on those things. Let's see here. So next up on the list here, we've got Fit Femmes. Fit Femmes uploads every other day. They do fitness content. The goal of the channel is to show appreciation to fit and muscular women. And the question is, what are your thoughts on using copyright music provided by YouTube for shorts? One of the shorts I created, using it got a copyright strike. That says it by itself, right? So first off, keep in mind that when you are using music on YouTube, because their copyright system is a disaster on YouTube in terms of their music copyright system. So when you are using music, sometimes people will issue claims and they don't even have the rights to issue the claims. Like they're not even legally allowed to do that, but they do it anyway. And because of that, in your particular case, if you got that from YouTube and you gave the right attribution, if it was required, based on the songs that you used, then I would definitely consider disputing that. Because, if you got permission from YouTube and you followed the rules that they, attached to that particular track, then in that case, you shouldn't have a copyright claim on that. And it's probably a fraudulent claim. So what you might want to do is you might want to hop on Twitter. And at Team YouTube, and let them know that you're having that situation. Be like, hey, I use this, it's from YouTube. And then somebody over there should look into it and try to help steer you in that right direction. But just be professional. Just be like, hey, just a heads up, I got this thing. I used it from YouTube. I know I'm allowed to use it because it says here on YouTube that I'm allowed to use it. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention because I think this is fraudulent. And then by doing that, then, they should look into it. Next up on our list here, we've got Poop Scoops for Noobs. It wouldn't be a stream if we didn't have a question from Poop Scoop for Noobs. Says they have a poop scooping business. The goal is to become a resource for other scoopers and to inspire others to start their business. And the question is, hey Nick, thank you for everything, my friend. I started channel Jumpstart with Daryl Leaves in a few weeks. What are your suggestions about how I can make the most of this opportunity? I'm ready to put in the work and take my channel to the next level. So first off, when it comes to channel Jumpstart, when it comes to YouTube and YouTube advice, people will hear the advice, they'll know what to do, they'll understand how the thing that they're being told will benefit them. And I know some of you in the chat you're hearing this really loud and clear right now, but they'll hear the advice, they'll know the advice, they'll understand the advice, they'll know how it will help them, but they won't apply it, and they won't apply it in the ways that, that they're being told to apply it. And because of that, they'll end up not getting what it is that they're after. So because of that, listen to the advice. You're in excellent hands. He knows what he's talking about. He's trained his team up. Everybody knows what they're doing. He's going to help you in major ways, but you have to make sure that you are applying and doing everything that they say. Because if you're like, hey, this is what they say, and I'm going to do that, but then I'm going to kind of do this also, just do what they say, and take the approach that they recommend to you, and you'll get results over there. The worst thing you can do is spend that kind of money on something and not listen to what it is that they're saying or interpret it, or being to where you're like, I think I understand this, but I'm not 100% sure, but let me just give it a shot and see. Don't do that. Ask questions, right? Like you're paying for that. And the reason that they're there, and the reason that, that has the price tag that it does, is because it gets results for the people that apply the information. So make sure that you're also asking questions about anything you don't understand. In addition to that, make sure that you are up to speed on YouTube enough to where you are going to understand what it is that you're being told. So as an example, as a YouTube content creator, there's lingo. So, when it comes to YouTube analytics, there's lingo. When it comes to the content itself, there's lingo, right? There's words and language that we use to explain certain things. Make sure that you're spending time before you go into Channel Jumpstart, getting up to speed on all of that. I would also go through, YouTube has something called Creator Tips. It's part of the Google Help pages in the YouTube section, but it's called Creator Tips. Go into there, read all of that. Literally every page that is in there teaching you how to do all the different things about YouTube, read all of that. That's going to help you, kind of get your information up so that when you go in there, you're going to have a better understanding of the information that's coming in. And the reason that this is important, and it sounds kind of stupid to be like, well, yeah, of course, they're just going to say what it is and all that, and they will. But like when you're trying to learn something and you're trying to kind of like, okay, let me take this information and run with it. Like, if you don't understand everything that's being said in terms of like, hey, they're talking about, APV. Well, what is APV, right? So like when you're like, okay, they're talking about these particular things, like you got to make sure that you're up to speed, because if not, they might be saying things and you're like, yeah, I think I get what they're saying. But then like, if you don't understand the lingo, then some of that will end up, not resonating. So just make sure you're bringing yourself up to speed on the language of YouTube, essentially. And by doing that, and also by going through Creator Tips. And there's also, if you go to, I think it's youtube.com/creators, if I remember correctly. It's a whole other educational resource as well for content creators. So make sure that you're going through both of those and you're educating yourself up, and just get yourself as much information as you possibly can before you go in there. But in addition to that, make sure you know deeply what it is that you're trying to accomplish with your YouTube channel, and make sure you know exactly who it is that you're trying to target with your content, which you do. So in their program, they're gonna train you on how to actually do that. But make sure that you have an idea of what it is that you're trying to do before you even go in there. And that it's clear. It's not just a vague idea like become a resource for other scoopers and inspire others to start their business. Like that's good, and that's a good start. But like get into like, okay, well, how are you going to inspire people to start their business? What type of resource are you going to be? How is that exactly going to add value to people? Those types of things. So like really break down the goals that you have and what it is that you're trying to do, so that when you go in there and you start having to answer questions like, okay, like what are you trying to do? So you can be like, okay, this is what I'm trying to do, right? Also understand how everything is currently happening on your YouTube channel. So make sure that you're paying attention to like, how people are responding to your videos, and just get a general idea. How many impressions am I getting? How many views am I getting? What's my click-through rate look like? What does my click-through rate look like in these different traffic sources? Those sorts of things. So that when you go in there, you're armed and ready to go, right? So that's what I recommend there. Let's see here. So 411 now says, thank you again for your stream, Nick. Stay safe out there. My pleasure. Glad that you're enjoying the stream. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Rhonda's Lovely Sparks ASMR says, hashtags in description. How many? It works and how? So when it comes to hashtags in your video description, the first 3 will end up showing up underneath your video. Make sure you research the hashtags that you're using for relevance. And what I mean by that is when it comes to your hashtags, how many people here are using hashtags in your videos, by the way? If you are, just say me. But when you are using hashtags, one of the things that we find in our members group, we look at YouTube channels, and we basically look at member channels, and we say like, it's a best practice thing. We're like, hey, let's look and see, how everything's set up and like things you're doing. We give kind of tips on things they can do to do better. And as part of that, one of the things that we often find is that some of the hashtags that are being used are not relevant to the content. So you need to make sure that the hashtags that you're using are relevant to the content that you're publishing. So a really fast way to do this is upload your video as unlisted, add the hashtags that you think are going to be a good fit for that video. And then when it's unlisted, make sure you view it as unlisted, and then you're going to be able to go into the description and see all those hashtags. Just right click them, open them all up, and look and see the videos that are being presented for those hashtags. And what you want to think about is based on the topics that these videos are about that are being featured here for this particular hashtag, out of these videos, are these relevant to my content? Because people are going to be coming from these videos and landing on this page. And if my content isn't relevant, then they're not going to click on it, which means that that's going to be a useless hashtag for me, because my videos aren't going to be anywhere that it's going to matter for that hashtag. So because of that, you want to research every hashtag that you're using and make sure that it's relevant for the type of content that you have. And all you do for that is you just think, all these videos that are here that are being featured by YouTube, because these are the ones that are performing best for that hashtag. So out of all these ones that are here, are these, like if a viewer were to come from that video, you know, this top row, all these videos in this top row, if people were to come from that video into this hashtag page and see my content there, would they be likely to respond to that based on the topics of these other videos? If the answer is yes, then it's a good hashtag. If the answer is no, then don't use that hashtag, right? That's the idea. Let's see here. Pixie Dust Traveler, thank you for the super chat. Says, loving the stream. It's helpful as always. Do you think my channel name is too long? Pixie Dust Traveler. I don't think so. It's really easy to remember. 3 words, even though you have multiple syllables in Traveler. The first 2 are just 1 syllable words, or no, Pixies too. So yeah, all around, I think it's really easy to remember. If I were to recommend your channel to somebody, if I was like, you know, into your content, really easy to recommend also. I think you're fine. The only place where that might break down is if you're trying to secure your brand elsewhere on the internet. I know some platforms, they have character limits, so I'm not sure exactly how many characters this falls into without taking up time to count. But I would, I think Twitter, for example, I think they have like a 14 or 15 character limit for their usernames. So if you're securing their brand all across the internet, then I would just go and look and just see what your limitations are there. And as long as you fit into that, I think the name as a whole is fine in terms of, you know, the length of it and being able to easily recommend it. Okay, so next up on the list, we've got... Okay, we did Poop Scoop for noobs. Waiting for my page to load here in the meantime.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
So next up, we've got Brenda Tarot Card Readings. Brenda does her content on an iPhone. The type of channel is tarot and oracle readings / entertainment. And the goal of the channel is to get more subscribers and generate traffic to my website for services. Question, shorts. Do we have access to edit the monetizing on the phone, or do we need to use the computer to add this? So YouTube is going to do this automatically in terms of them, you know, automatically turning the monetization on your shorts. But if you notice that they're not on, I have a video, or a short actually, that I just put up on the channel the other day showing you how to get there on a mobile device and do it on your phone. So currently in the Creator Studio app, you can't do it. You can't even access that area, but you can use your Chrome browser in desktop mode. Excuse me. Use your Chrome browser in desktop mode, and then you can navigate to studio.youtube.com. And then by doing that, you're going to be able to access your YouTube channel just like you would on a computer. So you can add in screen, like you can do anything you want in there. Go into advanced analytics, all that stuff. But it's clunky, but it gets you in there. If you're on a tablet, it's even easier. Oh my gosh, I forgot to even mention this. So how many people here have iPads? If you have an iPad, just say me, because I just want to let you guys know something. But when it comes to getting into that area, though, desktop mode on a computer will do it, and then you can go into your content, and then you can turn on monetization that way through your Chrome browser. So for those of you that have iPads, just as a heads up, and my tablet's actually downstairs because I was going to give you a demonstration of it, but I just updated my Pad Planet video planner. So basically what it is it's the planner that I use to basically kind of map out my content. I also have pages in there where you can, like, if you have like lights that you set up or camera settings or whatever that you use for your content, you can write all those down. But if you have a tablet with a pencil and you have like Good Notes, or I think Notable is the other notepad software app in there. It's made for iPads, but you can use it on any tablet that has an app with a PDF markup in it. But it's called padplanet.com. I've got a link to it at the top of the description. But basically, I just updated it for 2023, and it's a content planner. And basically, like when you are looking at it, it has like the overview where you can go into the actual each day of the calendar, and you can say, this is the video I'm publishing on this day. It has icons that you can download that are for free, to where you can add like live stream icons and things like that to your calendar, so you can know when you're doing what. In addition to that, you can tap into like each day, and you can say like, okay, this is the video I'm publishing on this day. What are the keywords that I'm targeting if you're doing that? What is it I'm doing for the thumbnail? Those types of things where you can plan the details of the video. And then it has a bunch of other, you know, helpful things as well. So I got a link to that down in the description, but it's padplanet.com, and it's spelled PLANIT, like plan it. I should have came up with a better name, to be honest, but it does the trick. But yeah, that's available now, so you can get it at padplanet.com. So Next up, oh no, I got to answer this question. So the question is, I used to do live political tarot readings, but I wasn't getting many, sometimes any, live viewers, nor many replay views. When I asked my audience what content of mine they prefer, tarot charts and reviews got the most votes. But a few said that they really appreciate my political readings as a way to connect with me on values, political, ethical level. I'm looking at different ways to implement my political / news-related tarot readings and my content in a cohesive way. Any thoughts on how to do that? So first off, I would not necessarily if you ask this in your community feed and you got a bunch of responses, then you can definitely use that as a guide. Okay, you've got an established channel. So hold on, let's see what you're doing here. Okay, so with your videos, Ruby, one thing that I would definitely do is I would start going, because you've got enough videos on your channel that have done well, to where you can go in and you can just start looking at your view counts by themselves to start figuring out like, what do people really want from me? Because there's a difference between the vocal people that are in your comment section that are the most engaged, so that you want that feedback, but then there's also the data, right? So when it comes to the data, right out of the gate, your 2023 video right here, that one did well. So whatever you're doing in that particular one, is definitely something to consider to add to your list. All the decks that I got in 2022. So in both of these, it looks like you're kind of featuring, like your stuff. So because of that, that might be just one of the pillars that you do. As we keep on going through here, it looks like, most of your stuff isn't hitting the numbers that those were. So that might be a thing, even though you might do some of those in other, pieces of content as well. But I would start looking through here, the most relatable deck ever, Wake Me Up Tarot. So it looks like when you're featuring different products, it seems that that's the stuff that people actually respond to. So you might want to consider, doing some more of that type of stuff. But basically, when it comes to the political stuff, that's great for drawing a line in the sand and saying like, hey, if you're into these types of things and you're supporting these parties and all that, that's great. But I think for the type of content that you're doing, I would actually just target tarot card readers, not necessarily political, points of view. And the reason for that is because there's going to be people on both sides that you'd be able to tap into. I mean, from a branding perspective, drawing that line in the sand and saying, hey, if you're this type of person, then, that's who I want interacting with my stuff. You can absolutely do that, and it can be powerful. But for this, I would actually try to be just a little bit more, like, hey, I'm just going for people that are into like tarot card readings for, your type of content, and go after that. But I think a bigger problem with what it is that you're doing is, but we won't even talk about that. But I mean, okay, I will. So you're featuring yourself a lot. I think I've actually looked at your channel. I think you used to be a member maybe, or maybe you are. Yeah, Tarot with Ruby. Yeah, you are a member. So yeah, I've done a review. I've actually done like a best practice check on your channel. And one of the things that I mentioned on your content specifically is I mentioned that you are focusing a lot on you and not enough on the actual tarot cards. And one of the things that you got to think about there, yeah, you are. I see you there. Yeah, I know you are. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, you were, and I was like, no, wait a minute, you are. Yeah, as soon as I saw the channel name, I was like, yeah, absolutely. So, I think focusing more on the cards themselves will bring more benefit to you than focusing it on you without a reference to the cards. So if you're going to focus on you also, that's great, because the people that are into your content, they can know that it's you, but also make sure that you have a very strong focus on the cards as well, in terms of like making them bigger, making them more prominent, so that, it really will grab the attention of those people, even in suggested videos on a desktop computer where they come out real small. Make sure that they're big enough that the cards are, to where even at a small size like that, they would be able to tell that it has something to do with tarot cards to help pull them in that way. But in terms of, interweaving the political content to this, yeah, it's in the Facebook group. I'm not sure. Doug, I'm not sure if we've uploaded that replay or not. But that should be in there somewhere. I know that I still have, I think, like four of those streams that I have to get up, but just as a heads up, you're in there somewhere. But when it comes to mixing in the political stuff though, you can do that again on the branding side, but really I would just focus on tarot card readings, and I would focus on, getting people to click on what it is that you're doing more, and getting people to, get through the content more and creating that viewer experience. I'd focus all of your efforts on that right now. And then once you start getting a better response there and you start having more people interact with every video that you publish, then that's where it's like, okay, now that I'm having more people interacting, now I can start kind of trying to draw these lines in the sand of, you know, if I want to go the political route and things like that. But if you're like, hey, whatever, Nick, I just want to go the political route, then in that case, I would just try to make videos themselves, and you'll be able to find out really quick if it's effective or not. But make videos that are literally in the titles targeting those particular people that you're trying to reach that are interested in politics. And by doing that, you're going to be able to go into your grouping feature, and you're going to be able to see with those particular pieces of content, let's say you do 10 of those or 5 of those, then you're going to be able to go in there and you're going to be able to compare those against a set of another 5 videos. And you're going to be able to see like, okay, which ones are people like really responding to better as a content set. And you'll be able to see that based on the view counts, how many subscribers you're getting from them, how much engagement you're getting from them, and all of that. So that you can say like, is this appropriate in terms of the response that I'm getting from doing this type of modification? So if you decide to just go for it anyway, then in that case, I would just use that grouping feature to kind of track what it is that you're doing and how people are responding to each compared to another set of videos that are performing well. But if you're like, hey, let me take the other side of that and, you know, just focus more on the viewer experience right now and just getting tarot card readers in regardless of, you know, their political views, getting them in here right now so that I can just get more data to make better videos and to get people to respond better to my thumbnails and titles. And of course the video content itself, let me work on that. And then once I get that to where I'm getting, you know, more or higher average view counts, then that's where I'll start considering, drawing that line. That's what I would do in that particular case. And I think that would also be the best chance for you, or not the best chance, but the best approach for you. But of course, you know, it's your thing. You know, you can definitely take it any way that you want. And my ideas are not always the perfect ideas. So because of that, also use your own intuition and ideas on that as well. It says, yeah, I feel like it builds community because my target audience will know that my channel is a safe space for them. Totally. I understand that. I totally understand that. And that also, like when you look into like the deeper sides of branding, this is a little side tip and conversation for you guys, is when you look into the deeper sides of branding, drawing those lines in the sand is also one of those things as well. Because, when you do draw those lines in the sand, it does become a them versus us scenario in terms of like, okay, well, the people that are, on these side or on this side of that line, they all think and believe these types of things. Whereas people on this side of the line, they think and believe these types of things. So then if I'm only trying to attract the people that think and believe in these types of things like I do, then I can actually down talk, so to speak, the people that think the other things, and the people that are into the things like I am, they'll super appreciate that, and that'll like really help them connect to me. So there is that side of things, not necessarily down talk, but be like, you can make little references like, yeah, if it was a such and such, and they wouldn't even know, blah, 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 right? So you can do those sorts of things. But from a deeper branding side, that type of thing is really effective. But in your case, I would just try to scale up the numbers first in terms of your average view counts so that you have more people to work with when it comes to like, okay, today I'm drawing that line in the sand. Let's see how people respond to it type of thing, right? That's the reason. So then it's like, hey, I've got the problem fixed of being able to grab somebody's attention, pull them through content and create that experience for them, which is bringing me higher, view counts. I've solved that problem. So now I can't blame any video performance on that. It will come down to me, being polarizing, in a sense. So I would just consider all of that and then make the call from there. But of course, in this process, because you're a channel member and you've been a channel member for a while. So like in this case, like if you have any questions about any of this, if you are like trying to figure out the nuance and what it is that I just said, or you're like, hey, I'm going to try this and then try to get some feedback or whatever, you're in the Facebook group. So, make sure that you just tag me in there as you're working on that. And by the way, if you are a channel member, especially if you're in the Facebook group, but if you're a channel member already, and you are not in the Facebook group, I'm going to drop a link in chat right now to the new membership system that we're using. And this is closed right now. I'm literally the only person using this right now. But if you are currently a channel member and you are not in the Facebook group, or if you are in the Facebook group, you need to be connected to this to maintain your access to the Facebook group, because there's a lot of people that join and then they'll just cancel, but then they'll still be in the Facebook group. So because of that, this is helping me manage that. But if you're not in the Facebook group because you don't want, to connect your, personal, privacy to your YouTube channel, then in that particular case, if you still want to be notified for like live streams and things like that so you can participate, make sure you connect there, because what I'm going to start doing once, everybody gets connected, which will take probably about 2 weeks, what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start sending out emails before we do our live streams. So even if you're not in the Facebook group, you'll still be able to come in and join the live streams and get all the value that we provide in the live streams, because I'm completely restructuring what it is that I'm doing with that so that I can add more value and help people in a deeper way. But it's, but I'm saving that for the people that are, actually, still channel members. So that's what's going on. So Discord, I'm not. So I have a Discord server already. It's a Niminati Discord server, but we actually stopped, just kind of really doing much over there, just because at that point in time when we made that, some of the people that were going in there were just being like super disruptive and, things like that. Just, some younger people that probably shouldn't have been in there in the first place. They were just going in there and like trolling people and, just kind of making problems, and it just made it a difficult thing to manage. So because of that, we just kind of shut the thing down. Like it's still there, but we don't really do anything with it. But I might actually fire that up as like a free thing in the future. But it's not going to be as attentive as the member stuff is. Synergy Effect says, why does a short do so well, but then the next short completely stays flat? Also, my subs don't get notifications, but sometimes do, but very late. So when it comes to the notifications people get, that's kind of like the YouTube promotion as well, to where like the people that are most likely to respond to those notifications are going to get them first, and then, they start trailing out from there. Same thing goes with the content itself. When you publish something, it's that core group that's going to get it first, and then, everybody else is going to get it after. So in terms of, one short does well and then the next one doesn't, that comes down to, and then I guess you also have it to where one short doesn't do well and then another one does well. So you have it on both sides, but the idea is that when you are, if you ever need help setting up or modding the Discord, I'd love to help out. Absolutely. Yeah, let's have that conversation. So so if you want to hit me up on Twitter, DM, or if you just want to tag me in Facebook and then I can just connect with you there, then yeah, we can definitely have that conversation, because that's definitely something that I'm considering. Yeah, Doug's in the Discord right now, actually. But anyway, so when it comes to, one short doing well and the other one doesn't, timing is a thing. The competition with the other shorts that they're prioritizing at that moment in time is a thing. And of course, the performance of the short itself in terms of how people are responding to it when they're watching it is another thing. So, so that's why, just like with long form content, some content really resonates with people and they watch it for a long period of time. They share it with a lot of other people. They subscribe to the channel because of it. They like it. They end up watching a lot more videos on the channel because of it, and as they got introduced through that video, things like that. And then other videos, you publish them, and then crickets, right? Like, you'll get some views on them, whatever, but they just don't perform as well. They don't land as much. People don't click as much because you just weren't able to make that connection through, some of the content. So, I've made tons of content, during my time doing this since 2014. And, the one thing that I've learned over everything else is that people don't respond to everything exactly the same, right? So, so because of that, some videos will do well. Some videos that you think will do well will just tank. Other times, videos that you think will tank will just end up doing awesome. So, there's all of that, that also happens. So really quick, an official answer to that question. And this is from Renee Ritchie. He actually works at YouTube. He's YouTube's creator liaison, which means he's he basically speaks on behalf of us to YouTube and then on behalf of YouTube to us as content creators. So it's like official information, but he says, shorts notifications aren't tied to long form notifications. They don't go out on upload. They don't count to your 3 notifications in a 24-hour limit. I didn't know that. That's excellent info. So thank you for that. They're sensitive to people who engage with you. So basically, shorts notifications are sensitive to people that engage with you. Excellent information on the not counting on the 3 notifications and 24-hour limit. That's great to know, actually. Also, and this is from him as well, if you check your analytics, you may be surprised to see how very few people actually click on notifications. For me, it's 1%. People are busy, they watch, and then they go to YouTube when it's convenient. Totally, absolutely. So let's see here. So next up on our list. Hey, also, by the way, for channel members, we are also going to be doing more volley as well. So I had everybody connect to that. And then, it's used lightly right now. But once all this, connection stuff and once everybody's over onto Members Amp, then we're going to be going hard on volley too. And that's like a video messaging thing. So it's like, hey, Nick, I'm looking at my stats. What's this? Blah, blah. You're going to be able to do that too in the future, which is going to be cool. So next up on our list, we got Homekeeping Channel. Homekeeping Channel does bi-weekly content. The type of channel is cleaning and organizing channel. The goal of the channel is helping people to find the solutions to everyday chores within the home. And the question is, hey, Nick, on the YouTube analytics, they show the graph to when our viewers are on YouTube. First question is, this chart showing our subscribers and returning viewers? And second question, how should we use this if shown? For example, mine shows on Sunday from 8 a.m., but on Monday to Wednesday, it's the worst days, is no viewers hardly appear. So I'm now posting on Saturday. Is this wrong? As I wasn't getting views on Sunday, only about 10 views. So right now, if you're not getting a lot of views on your channel, then there's not a lot of information to work with. So here's what I recommend. Think about the life cycle of the, or the lifestyle of the people that you're trying to reach. In your case, you're on cleaning and organizing content. So make sure that you're thinking about, okay, the people I'm trying to reach with this content, what might their day-to-day life look like? And if they were to watch YouTube videos, where in the day would they be most likely to watch videos and publish around those times? Because right now, if you're having entire days where you're just zeroing out in terms of like when your viewers online, that's not accurate in terms of like the people that you're trying to reach are online, but the people that are currently interacting with your content are not. So because of that, think about the people that you're trying to reach and what their lifestyle might look like and when they might have time to consume your content and publish then. And then once you start getting more data on your YouTube channel, to where those days start filling up, then the picture will start becoming really clear on when's the right time to publish your videos. Killer McKnight, thank you for the super chat. Says, good morning, Nick. Can a username affect your CPM? Very curious about this because I have killer in mind. Thanks. That's really interesting. So in terms of the channel name itself, I wish I had an answer to that, but I don't. Renee's in here. He might have an answer for that, but I really don't know if the username would impact it or not. I would think that if the username was going to impact your CPM, that it might impact your recommendations altogether. So one thing that I would do, I'm not sure, like with your channel, let me see if I can hit it real quick. I can, so give me 1 second. Okay, you got almost 10,000 subscribers, so you're not necessarily being restricted. But the thing that I was gonna say is I would go to your channel and I would go turn on restricted mode. And I'm actually doing this right now myself. And I would look at your channel in restricted mode and just see if any of your content is being restricted. And I'm in restricted mode, but I'm still seeing a bunch of stuff here. So, YouTube is definitely still showing me your content, even though I'm in restricted mode. So because of that, you're probably okay. But in terms of the nuance on if your name impacts that, because it might have a trigger word in it, I really don't know if the name would matter, because sort of like if a video is shown, you have the actual video itself, and then you have the metadata for that video. So all of that would be content, but the name itself would also display on that watch page. So because of that, I would say that it's possible, but I wouldn't, I don't know for sure either way. I wish I could help you with that. But unfortunately that particular question is one that stumps me. Like I have no idea on if a username is actually taken into account with like CPM or even recommendations in general. I'm not sure if the channel name itself matters in that capacity. Renee also, he works at YouTube and he's like, I'm not sure, to be honest. YouTube tends to focus on the topic and video rather than the creator and the channel. So that's some food for thought for you in terms of, what might, like on if it, matters or not. I wish I could help you more with that, Killer McKnight. But unfortunately, I just, that's just information that I don't have, but I wish I could help you more there. But, I don't know, Renee doesn't know. So, so you might want to, go through the system a little bit. Maybe hop on Twitter and send a message to like @Team YouTube. Maybe they might, have some information for you. Maybe post something about that in like the YouTube community forum, which you can find via Google, and just see if you have anybody respond to it. Cause they have a bunch of like Google, they killed their trusted flagger thing, but they still have like Google product experts and stuff like that. So you might have somebody that, you know, can come in and help you out there that might know something. But those would be the places that I would start looking or exploring to try to get the answers to that information. I wish I could answer that for you, but I have no idea on that. So next up, we have, let's see here, Trav around Susie does van life content. The goal of the channel is to grow my channel. And the question is, hey, Nick, thanks for all the work that you do. The question is, I have 43 subscribers, 36 videos uploaded. My analytics tells me I have not enough data for who my subscribers watch, what age, what gender, and niche down, which is van life. All of my videos, but one is about something to do with the van or about places people can go to stay at. Is 36 videos not enough, or 43 subscribers not enough, or is it based on views per video, not the channel as a whole? So it is based on the channel, but it's also based on the views themselves because the videos themselves, because the videos are what make up the channel. So if you don't have that information now, keep plugging away, you will get that information. But if your view counts haven't crossed that threshold yet for them to really have any solid data on who, you know, who's interacting, then in that particular case, that's not, you know, like they can't give you information that they don't have, or that they don't have enough of to make it statistically significant, right? So because of that, I wouldn't even worry about it right now. I would just keep plugging forward with making videos, trying to improve the skill sets, doing all of those things. And then that, you know, by improving your skill sets and your videos and the value that you're offering, all that stuff, then, you know, you will be serving that audience, which means that in turn, over time, you will start collecting that information, and then it'll pop up, and then you'll have that information and be able to make, you know, the better decisions from there. Let's see here. So next up on our list, we've got Studio Media. Studio Media says they do screenwriting and filmmaking content. The goal of the channel is to grow as a filmmaker, influencer, and aid other beginner filmmakers and become a full-time YouTuber. Question. Recently, I've changed niches from physical media collection to screenwriting and filmmaking. I've noticed that YouTube is suggesting my content to a broad audience and not people in my new niche. I optimize the videos the best I can. Is there any way that I can fix this? Well, the thing to keep in mind is that YouTube is recommending content to people that are enjoying content like, you know, some of the content that's been on your channel before. So for example, if you have people coming into your channel right now and you were doing broad audience content, like you're doing physical media. So if you have videos on your channel right now that are still bringing in a lot of people that are interested in the physical media stuff, then if they're interacting with your content, they're enjoying the videos, they're subscribing to your channel, they're thumbs up on them, maybe they're watching multiple videos, things like that. Then when you publish some of these other videos, YouTube, because they're interacting, you know, with your content, YouTube's going to show your content to some of those people, and some of those people might not respond to it because, you know, they're not interested in filmmaking, which then could in turn end up hurting them getting those recommendations. Long term, you'll end up being able to go in that direction. But one thing that I would definitely do is I would look at the traffic that you're getting on the older videos, because you might need to and this is your call to make, but you might need to like unlist some of those videos or private some of those videos so that they're not getting traffic anymore, so that you can start training YouTube up on the people that are interacting with the new direction that you're going with that new screenwriting content. Because if people are coming in for physical media and they don't care about screenwriting and filmmaking tips, then in that particular case, like you're kind of breaking everything there. So because of that, if it was my channel, just something to consider. If it was mine and I was going to send it in that direction, I would either start a new channel from scratch and just make it easy. Or I would be like, okay, well, I'm not even making content about this anymore. So there's no reason for me to having these other videos on my channel, because the people that they're bringing in are not people that are going to interact with this screenwriting content. So if it was me, I would actually go in and I would just take out anything that wasn't a good fit for somebody that's into screenwriting and filmmaking in terms of the content. You're going to take a hit. It's going to suck in terms of like your real-time view counts, all of that. But what that's going to do is that's going to limit the amount of people that are coming in from this other stuff. You're kind of putting that shield up, right? And then that's going to make it to where the only people that are interacting with your content are going to be the people that are interacting with the new content and the new direction that you're going, so that it'll train YouTube up on who is the right fit to recommend your content to. So either create a new channel, or what I would do is I would either create a new channel for it or to go in that new direction, or I would take down all of the stuff that wasn't in that direction, update everything, channel art, about me page, channel keywords, all that stuff to point me in the new direction of screenwriting and filmmaking, and then just start publishing content and moving in that direction. So Pixie Dust Traveler, welcome to the Niminati. So what you want to do is you want to go
Welcome
to
to the
nimenvip.com. That's going to redirect you to Members Amp, which is the members platform that I'm using to, manage the memberships. As soon as you log into that, you're going to unlock rewards. You get like some stuff that you can download like immediately as soon as you sign in. But basically within that, there's going to be a direct link to our Facebook group. And then you want to make sure that you do that. And then if you can do that before the stream is over here in just a little bit, then I will go in there and I will approve you as soon as the stream is complete today. I'm actually going to just look at something here really quick. Okay. So let's see here. So next up on the list here, we've got change niches. Okay, we got that. So we've got the Game Looters. Cool name. I like that. They do gaming content. The goal is to grow my revenue and subscriber base. The question is, in November, December, I was able to crack over 500,000 views each month, and each month net about 1,200 subs each month. Congratulations. I'm very excited and appreciate those who subbed, but how do I turn such a large view base into subscribers? I do, in fact, make call outs sometimes twice a video, and I get good feedback that I'm providing value. What else or tactics can I employ to increase views and subscribers? Okay. So you're doing the things, you're getting, the views, like you're in motion, right? So if you're wanting to increase the subscribers, the next thing you need to start working on is where you're asking people to subscribe in your videos and how you're asking people to subscribe, because you mentioned that you are asking people to subscribe. So instead of doing it twice, do it once with a graphic to where you just have a little thing pop up, just reminds people to subscribe. You can do that before or after the verbal version I'm getting ready to tell you. And then what you want to start doing is for your calls to action when you're asking people to subscribe, since you're doing gaming content, instead of interrupting the whole thing and being like, oh, hey, by the way, first time here, blah, blah, blah. What you want to do is just wait until there's like a lull. So for example, like let's say there's like a loading screen, you're waiting for something to load, or let's say that you're doing a load out and you're waiting for the actual game to start or something like that, or you're waiting to drop in, depending on the game you're playing, whatever. So what you want to do is you want to use those little lulls to where you can do it in a non-interruptive way. So then basically what you would do is during one of those lulls, let's say you're waiting for like a screen to load or, waiting for the game to actually start and you're recording that part, then in that case, what you can do is you can say, oh, hey, really quick, I put out videos like this every, whatever. So if you're enjoying this so far, make sure you subscribe, right? And then by doing that, what you're doing is you're dropping that in a non-interruptive way while they're also waiting for that next thing to happen. So you're kind of filling that space, which is good. And you're also you're kind of squeezing that in there. Another place that you can do it is depending on the type of content that you make. If you're playing the game, then in that case, you want to drop it in those, in those screens. But if you are teaching people stuff, like let's say you're showing people like where all the best boxes are, or, whatever, then in that case, after you give somebody a really good tip, then drop in either a little subscribe graphic to remind them there, or that's where you would also just do a thing right after that tip, because you would know, because you play the games too, like the value they would get from that, and be like, hey, just a heads up, I put out videos like this all the time. So, if you enjoyed that tip, make sure you subscribe. And then by doing that, then you're asking for that subscribe in places that's one, not interruptive if you take the one approach, and then two, right after they got value to where like their interest is at the highest and like, oh wow, that was good, I didn't know that. Then it's like, bam, subscribe for more of that, of those like knowledge bombs, right? That's kind of the idea. So by doing that, that should help. In addition to that, if you go into your YouTube stats, you are going to, like if you're trying to get into the partner program, for example, you're trying to hit like, hey, I'm trying to get a play button as quick as I can. Another thing you can also do is you can go into your YouTube analytics, start looking at the videos that are driving the most subscribers, not just on view counts, because typically, video with a lot of views will drive more subscribers, but start looking at the actual conversions themselves, right? So it's like, okay, out of X amount of views, I typically get X amount of subscribers on these videos. Figure out the videos that convert for you at the highest rate. And then in your content, like when people get to the end of your end screens, in your content, make sure that you're recommending those videos on a somewhat regular basis. And the reason for that is because if somebody's enjoying your content, they watch all the way in, and then you recommend them to watch that next video and they do, then in that particular case, if they didn't subscribe on this one, and this one is proven based on the data that you already have for them to convert at a higher rate through that particular video based on whatever reason they subscribed to that video, then you're literally directing that person that already enjoyed the content, if they didn't subscribe and they go watch that next one, then that one's proven to convert higher for you. So then your likelihood of getting them to subscribe on that next video is higher. So you want to take, one of those approaches or combine them all to serve what it is that you're trying to accomplish there. Ria Torres says, if I go to my settings and I change the channel location to USA, will YouTube start to show my videos to more American viewers? The actual country is Brazil. No. As a matter of fact, I actually have an exact thing for here, as long as I didn't delete it. I'm going to tell you something here. Give me 1 second and I'll find this. And this is directly related to your question. So changing your country's channel doesn't, or changing your channel's country doesn't impact how YouTube serves you. It's solely based on where you're getting a majority of your views. For instance, I can't say that part. Okay, if your country code is set to the US, but they get a majority of their views outside of the US, then that's where their content's gonna be shown more. So basically, if people are responding in one place, that's where they're going to get the most of the traffic from. So when you are, trying to change your content from Brazil to the US, by making that change, that's not going to do it. The thing that's going to do it is by making sure that all of your videos on your entire channel are in English, making sure that your thumbnails and titles are all in English, and making sure that the English that you speak in your videos is, that it's good English. Because what you want to happen is you want English-speaking content, or not content creators, you want English-speaking viewers to interact with your content and have a great experience with your content. And the more of them that do that, the more YouTube is going to recommend your content to English-speaking people all over the world, not just in the US, but in all of the countries where people speak English. So, so because of that, changing the country doesn't matter, and your country actually needs to be where your AdSense is going also, just as a heads up for when you're getting paid. But the thing of changing the country itself doesn't impact your recommendations. Where people are responding to your content is what impacts your recommendations. So if your accent is really strong and you notice in your audience retention reports that people aren't sticking around very long, then in that case, I would spend tons of time and effort. If you're trying to I want to the US, I want those viewers because I want the ad rates there, because that's probably what you're after. Then in that particular case, I would one of the skill sets while you're working on your YouTube skill sets is, if you find that people aren't responding well to the videos in terms of your retention, is I would actually use that as a gauge while you're practicing English to start determining how fluent you're getting in terms of how people are responding to what it is that you're doing. But the real game with what it is that you're doing there is you're trying to get your English to a level. If it's not already, it might be there already, but you're trying to get it to that level to where when an English speaking person comes in, they're not distracted by your communication. So an example of this, there's a content creator. His name is Peter Lingram. I know about him because he does stuff about filmmaking. He talks about camera gear, some YouTube stuff as well. But check him out. People love him. He gets a lot of views from Western countries as well. He has an accent, but his accent is he actually has kind of a play with it. So he's super friendly, really relatable. And some of the things, he'll be sitting there talking in English, and then he'll mess up, and he'll notice that he messes up, and then he'll say something in his language, and then he kind of makes it a thing, and then he'll get back on and do the better version of it in English. So look at him just kind of for inspiration there. But as long as people in Western countries or English speaking countries are enjoying your content, then every English speaking person that enjoys your video is increasing the likelihood of more English speaking people interacting with your content and channel as a whole. Next up on our list. So next up, we've got Art Day Don Julio. I'm saying that correctly, probably not. The goal of the channel is to help people fix their cars. And the question is, my channel is in Spanish, but I want to translate and voice over my videos. Should I start a new channel? Yeah, if you have a Spanish channel and you're wanting to have another language, kind of like the question that we just answered, if you have a channel that already has a bunch of Spanish on it, just start a new channel and go in that direction. Next up, we've got Super Green Luigi. Shame on me. I don't know Luigi, right? Super Green Luigi. They do gaming content. The goal of the channel is just for fun, making Pokemon gaming content, experimenting income on YouTube, and to see if I can make extra money. And the question is, hey, Nick, this is Electro Blast Luigi, if you remember me, thank you for helping me over the years. I started a gaming channel last year as my second channel, and I reached 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time within the first 9 months, and currently over 3,000 subscribers. I'm testing how YouTube income works, and I want to know how super thanks work for long form content and short form content, since I'm seeing people earn revenue from comments similar to how they earn revenue during live streams such as yours. Is it possible to turn on super thanks and earn revenue on long form content or short form content via comments similar to live streams? Where does super thanks money go? Because I'm having trouble earning money and unable to reach the $100 minimum payout. I'm not sure if super thanks goes straight to AdSense. So when you get super thanks or super chats, YouTube takes a cut of that as well. And everything goes into the same payout essentially that you are getting from your YouTube video ads also. In terms of getting more, when it comes to super thanks, I would actually focus more on the content that you're making and trying to make that as good as you can so that you get more views and more ad revenue and all of that. Because yes, people do give super thanks. And yes, sometimes, $5 here, $20 here, it adds up. But a thing that I've noticed is that, super thanks just aren't something that people are just like crazy about. So like when it comes to live streams, it makes a little bit more sense there because, you can get direct interaction and things like that. But when it comes to the super thanks, that's more of like, hey, appreciate it, appreciate you or appreciate the content, whatever. And I just noticed those don't seem to happen as much. So because of that, right now, because you just don't have that like super engaged audience that, that will be doing that. I would actually focus on, trying to make the videos get a better response from them in terms of, your thumbnails, titles, the actual video content itself, so that you can just start making, better money when it comes to your ad rates or when it comes to, just your general, ad, views that you're getting on your videos. Kevin Morales says, just posted a new video this morning, followed by a clipped version of short form. Do you recommend posting immediately to drive the algorithm? I don't personally. So basically they're going into two different places. So technically one can also, get on whole pages and things like that. So since shorts do show up in, home pages, things like that, I wouldn't publish them like immediately, one for the other. Reason for that is because let's say I interact with your content. I log into YouTube right when you're publishing your videos one after another, or after you have both of them published. To me, because I'm a viewer, both of them are new pieces of content. YouTube might prioritize one over the other. And because of that, it could negatively impact you like right out of the gate. So because of that, even though the shorts would typically go into the short shelf, as well, they can also get recommended the other places. So that might create a little bit of, minor, issues. So because of that, I would definitely, kind of space them out a little bit instead of just kind of putting them out right on top of each other. Also, when it comes to the clipped version in a shorter form, I would also do that one a little bit first, maybe to build some hype for it, unless you're doing it for the link where you're literally clipping it out and then you have that link as a way to, as the vehicle to get people into the long form video. In that particular case, let the long form video, the thing that I recommend, it's your call, but the thing that I'd recommend is that you help have that long form video kind of stand on its own merit for a little bit, maybe like a day. And then after it stands on its own merit and you can see how it performs on its own, then do the short. So then you'll be able to, more easily gauge the impact, the direct impact that short's having. But you're also going to be able to make sure that that video can stand on its own without the shorts traffic that you're sending to it. Let's see here. So next up, we've got Gotta Be Healthy. Says, hey Nick, do I have to do a disclaimer for affiliate marketing? Thank you. Yes. So you have to do a disclaimer. It's called an affiliate disclaimer. Let me turn my bookmarks on here and I'll be able to grab a bookmark for you really quick. I think it's actually in here. Let me look for actually FTC legal and disclosures for social media influencers. No. Stop. I need to open a new window before I do that. I almost lost my place in the form. So give me 1 second. I'm going to just drop a link in here. So absolutely you do. This is a legal requirement. So it depends on what you're promoting. Like no matter what, you have to put a disclosure letting people know that you're making money from the affiliate links. Here's a link to the FTC thing on the influencer disclosures. But basically when it comes to disclosing as an affiliate, you have to make sure that you disclose sponsors, you have to disclose affiliates, everything. And the reason for that is because let's say that I tell you to go get this flashlight. Well, if I tell you to go get this flashlight and I don't disclose that it is sponsored, then in that case, you won't know that there might be some bias to me recommending this flashlight, because there are some content creators. There's actually one dude that's being taken to like task for it right now. He, I think it was like CoffeeZilla. He ended up sponsoring like this dude for like $1,000, and the guy didn't like look into the product or anything. He just like did the video for it, but it was like all fake, and he still like did it. So like because of things like that, if you are recommending something, like you have to disclose that is, that it's, that you're getting some type of benefit from it, because that lets the viewers know that there might be some type of bias there. So of course, the best thing for content creators is to only promote things that you align with and that make sense for you and your audience, and that you use or you trust yourself. But the problem is, the internet just doesn't work that way. So because of that, those disclosures are there to be put, or they're there for the purpose of protecting consumers. So just click that link and you'll be able to find exactly what it is that you need there in terms of the information that you're seeking and the details. But the next thing I want to tell you is, if you're promoting Amazon affiliates or anything else, make sure that you are reading their terms, because different programs have different requirements for things they want you to disclose. So for example, if you're an Amazon associate and you have Amazon links in your description, you have to disclose that you're an Amazon associate and that you're going to earn a commission. If you don't do that, then you risk losing your Amazon account, even if you mention some of the links are affiliate links and I get a commission. If you don't disclose that you're an Amazon associate, then you run the risk of losing your associate's account. Subscription Maker, oops, sorry, wrong one. Subscription Maker, welcome to the Niminati.
Welcome.
So when you get the chance, go to niminvip.com. It's going to redirect you to our members only system. And once you connect there, then you're going to see the link to our members only Facebook group. You're also going to get some immediate rewards that you can download as well once you log in over there. So do that. And if you can do that here before the stream is complete here in the next few minutes, then I can get you into the Facebook group as soon as the stream is complete. And on that note, I want to thank everybody for hanging out. I hope that you got some information for the live stream. Look, I know there's a lot of new content creators here. And, with you being a new content creator, I know that, some of the things that we talk about might be like, hey, I don't know what audience retention reports are. I don't know what click-through rate is. I don't know what those things are. So write some of these things down. Like anytime you hang out in my live streams, you're watching YouTube videos about YouTube and, learning how to do this stuff. Write down anything that doesn't make sense and look into it afterwards. Hop on Google, try to figure these things out, because understanding the language of YouTube is like a really big part of like getting the most out of this information that you hear during these live streams and just watching YouTube help videos in general. So make sure that you do that. But in addition to that, I just want to let you know, regardless of where it is that you are in the process, growing a YouTube channel, it can take time. Some people it'll happen fast. Some people, will have to do it for quite some time just to get their skills to the point, based on just other things that they've done in their life before they got to YouTube. So they have to get their skills to a certain point before they can, make content that's competitive for the platform. So if you're in that process right now and you're like, hey, I wish I could get more views, but like just nothing's working, keep working at it. Keep working on developing your skills. Don't just work on the videos themselves in terms of like the ideas and stuff like that. Also work on all the things that happen around the video, right? Like, you have to make thumbnails, you have to write titles. If you're just doing shorts, you have to be able to grab people's attention and pull them through the video. Like work on those things and be very intentional about what it is that you're doing so that you can, ensure that you're going to be able to get what it is that you're on YouTube for in the first place, that you're going to be able to accomplish those things. Because, if this was super easy, then everybody would have huge YouTube channels, right? It's not. That's why, a lot of people start YouTube channels and then they just don't continue because they realize that there's work involved. And that work isn't necessarily just like, hey, I'm just uploading videos. That work is also like self-improvement on, developing your skill sets and learning how to do all this stuff. And YouTube is just like anything else. Just like if you go to play an instrument, as the reference that I make, you can't just, if you want to be a rock star, not Daniel Battal, because he's not a rock star. But if you are, wanting to be a rock star, You can't just pick up a guitar, never playing one before, and just shred, right? So you have to go through the process of learning the strings, learning the keys, learning the chord progressions, learning how to get your fingers to do the thing. YouTube is the same exact way. So, if you're somebody that's just getting started, I really recommend that you just work on the skills and that you embrace the process of doing the thing and developing the skills around doing the thing. And if you do that, you'll end up in a great spot. It might happen next month. It might happen the next video that you publish, or it might take you a year, maybe even longer in some cases. But if you work on those things, like you'll get there. So just make sure that you're, putting in that time of, developing, learning more about, the system and how it works, learning and paying attention to how people are responding to your videos and just being intentional about everything you're doing. And if you can do that, then, you'll be a different person in terms of the things that you know and the things that you understand and the things you're able to do. If you work on developing those skills and understanding everything involved, you're going to be a different person this time next year. So I just encourage you to embrace that process and just understand that there's a learning curve. And as part of that learning curve, if you're just getting started, you're here, and, people will start taking off, around like here, once they get things to that competitive level. So just embrace that process, enjoy yourself, because, if it's frustrating, then it becomes, less fun. Enjoy yourself, enjoy the process, and, just keep doing the thing. So thank you everybody so much for hanging out. And I will see you next Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern for this type of stream, next Friday for our news segment that we do, where I keep content creators like you up to date with everything that's happening on YouTube. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, I do this, like I said, all the time. I just teach content creators about YouTube. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't yet, if you want more content like this. And have an awesome rest of your week. And I will see you next time. Remember, I do have a bunch of stuff down in the description, a bunch of helpful tools, that just help you as a content creator. Some of those are my products and services. Some of those are things that, sponsors that I work with. Some of those are just other products that I recommend because I use them. So you can check all those things out down in the description as well. And have a great rest of your weekend. And I'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching Nimin Live. Remember to check out our sponsors and other useful resources in the description below this stream. See you next week.